sunshine and I'll shit on your parade. Don't get me started on doing Michael Caine. My opinion matters, yours will fall in last place. I'm not shutting up and you'll be learning my name. Fifth in the family, but first in my mind. 1 out of 10, but I'm ranking just fine. We've only got now, there's no afterlife. Look, Mom and Dad, I'm just speaking my mind. Everything's coming, I'm Kyle tonight. Everything's coming, I'm Kyle tonight. Everyone's coming, I'm Kyle tonight. Wait, what? No, nobody's coming, I'm Kyle tonight. Everything's coming, I'm Kyle tonight. You can't shut this mouth, but you're welcome to try. I only stop talking to drink, smoke, or eat and cry. I never shut up, gonna talk till I die. Gonna talk till I die. Kyle tonight. You can't shut this mouth, but you're welcome to try. I only stop talking and drink, smoke, or eat and cry. I never shut up, gonna talk till I die. Gonna talk till I die. Gonna talk till I die. Gonna talk till I die.
Hey everybody, we are here live with Kyle Mocha, Won't Shut Up, Season 5, Episode 13, Lucky 13, and we've got an awesome one in store for you today, guys.
That's true.
As always, I am joined by my cohort, my co-host, almost, if you will. You're the co-host with the most-ish, I'll say.
Thanks, man.
The most-ish. We are here with Justin Olimpedo. How's your day going, brother?
Good.
Going
Not
well?
bad.
Nothing too crazy? We're dealing with all these crazy new regulations and everything. We both work in the restaurant industry, so this weekend has been a doozy right before the holidays, getting a little bit more shut down there. Justin's disappearing underneath the camera there. Now, Zachary is going to be joining us at some point. I say at some point that way because we literally finished vocals.
We started this one a little early, too.
And we finished vocals 9 minutes ago.
We also did have some interruptions.
We had a couple interruptions. Some people calling us that we didn't really need calling us when they called us. And we also took on a lot with this single tonight. You're going to be hearing it a little bit later. It's actually going to be during our first musical break.
And it's the second time we've done something on this show.
Ooh, a cover?
A cover.
It's technically a cover. Yeah, last Christmas we covered We Three Kings, and this year we're covering FELIZ NAVIDAD for you guys. So everybody that likes international music and multi-language singles, this one is all for you. It's actually intergalactical in a way. But we'll get to that later.
It still follows the timeline of our first song. Like
it does. It really does. Parallel Christmas. Do they celebrate Christmas on Planet X? We want to know. So we're going to find out.
Yeah.
But it's also a very, very extra special episode because we are joined live. And this is, I think, only the second time we've ever had a musical guest as our guest.
I think so, yeah.
And we are joined now by Tim Holehouse. How we doing, Tim?
Hello, how are you all doing?
Doing well. Now, as our listeners may tell, he is also our first international guest. So this is an all-international episode here. International Christmas, also another idea for episode title that we did not use.
Yeah.
I went with orange or oranges.
Orange.
Yeah, it'll work. It'll work. None of the titles mean anything, so it'll...
Some of them mean stuff,
is it
but
because
we
it's the same... Is it the same? Is because it's the same colour as your the squatter currently at the White House?
Yes. Yeah. The squatter at the White House is very orange. She is super orange. Although, as of today, apparently everybody is sided with he is no longer going to be able to squat.
It's funny when the text went up. Yeah, I got the messages from like Apple News.
Oh yeah,
thanks iPhone for spamming me with bullshit or whatever.
We really care.
And
a month and a half later after the election, we all know what happened.
Yeah, I get
Except for like one
Biden
guy.
is finally the president.
Yeah.
Or Biden has won with 270. It's like, yeah, no shit.
Yeah. He had
what the
81
fuck?
million votes versus 73 or something like
There are
that.
still people protesting though.
Yeah. So hey, this episode is in honor of that orange bastard, I guess, or in dishonor of that orange bastard. But Tim, we're gonna get into how we met a little bit later. But I met you earlier this year before the world locked down and everything. Zach was able to meet you there that night as well. Justin was slammed at work and then had a long late night and wasn't able to make it. And he said today, I'm really regretting not being there.
Yeah, I told him that as well.
For that day. So now we're all getting to meet. We're all getting to hang out. And one day, soon, someday, we'll all get to sit around and drink some Old Crow and play music in basements again. And it'll be a wonderful, wonderful time. But I am interested to get a different perspective on the way the world is going right now. So I know you guys in the UK just entered another lockdown, right? Like fairly recently?
Right. So well, what we've had is we had lockdown 2.
Okay.
Until
Electric Boogaloo? Did they like spice it up for you at all?
Yeah, but it was like the same but different. I mean, you've got to remember, like, you might have Mr. Orange Man.
Yes.
We've got Boris Johnson.
Yeah, they're kind of freakishly similar. It's kind of scary that they both happened. It's like when two movies, when Armageddon and Deep Impact came out, and you were like, wait, which one's the ripoff here? Although I'll give it to your guy. He can speak at least a little bit. He can speak. He's like it's like having the Riddler from Batman as your prime minister. Like, nobody really knows what's going on. Yeah.
So what they've done is they had us in lockdown for 4 weeks from like the end of October, start of November to the start of December, and then they put us all in these tiers, and you couldn't like really work out what was going on in the tiers other than tier 3 you're basically still locked down.
Okay.
Tier 2 was like, yeah, it's restaurants and stuff can still, and bars and things can still be open, but you're only allowed to sit in tables of 6, etc., like that.
Yeah.
Right.
And then tier 1 is just like there really isn't anywhere in tier. There's like 2 islands off of the UK that are in tier 1.
They're just not letting anybody come in. They're just protecting their borders.
in or go out.
Yeah.
But London, where I am, has just gone into tier 3 as of tomorrow at midnight. So so now actually, I guess, here, because it's quite late.
It is. And we appreciate you staying up.
Yeah, man.
Oh, that's all right. I just hope I'm not annoying my partner too much.
Yeah. They can watch this later.
She's got a real life human being job.
Okay. So, one of those types. All right.
Yeah.
I know a few.
Yeah. So we've entered into tier 3 now, which means my gig on Friday is over. It is cancelled.
Yeah. Do you have an estimate on number of scheduled gigs that were like set and ready to go before the initial lockdown? Do you know about how much? Because you were, again, we'll talk more with Zach, but you were here. You were in the U.S. and it was like, oh shit, they're locking things down. I have to get back to my country. Like, I can't, like, as much as we would have loved you staying at Steve-O's house or at our house or something like that, you would have been like, all right, get me out of this fucking country. Get me away from the oranges.
I don't know whether my liver could have taken staying with Steve-O for 8 months.
Yeah, those are good nights. Those are good nights.
Yeah, I mean, like, I love the guy to bits, and what a superstar. But that guy can drink.
Yes, he can. Oh, yes.
We made the mistake of playing
we did Circle of Death which I don't know if you guys are just proper drinkers over there and you just drink your beverages, but sometimes over here when we're younger, and we're like illegally drinking because you can't drink till 21, you just come up with dumb games to play with the shitty bottle of whatever
games,
you have. So Circle of Death is a card-based game where every card in the deck is assigned a certain meaning, and we decided to play that game with Steve-O and Jen on the show. And we always get drunk when they're on the show. We always usually get drunk on the show. But we were like, I watched back and I'm like, we are incoherent towards the end of this episode. It's just 5 people who like to talk Well, 4 people and Justin, just like
man.
all over the place, all on top of each other. That's the episode where Zach said Mein Kampf like 5 times because he was trying to rhyme something with swamp. It was a good time. But yeah, we do you guys do any drinking games like when you're growing up drinking over
Yeah,
there?
I've got a really good one for you.
All
Have
right.
you ever played the Cannonball Run drinking game?
No.
To the movie?
Yeah.
Oh, no,
no.
what is it?
So you
Every time
basically
Dom
put
DeLuise wears a hat, you drink.
No. Every time your character is on the screen, you have to drink.
Oh.
Wait, so you pick who you're going with?
Yeah, I got Farrah Fawcett
Nice.
one time, which was pretty. I was pretty drunk, but it was a friend of ours, and he's called Little Meta. His name's Chris, and it was his birthday, so we all sort of rigged it so we got Burt Reynolds. So he's
He's in every shot
he was-
of the movie, pretty much.
Yeah, he was asleep by about halfway through the movie,
That's
just
beautiful.
unconscious.
That's
Oh man.
And we all
Oh.
went to the pub. We went to, I guess you guys call them a bar, but we went to the pub to celebrate his birthday while he was asleep on his own couch.
That's a good birthday. You can just tell him that it was a
Yeah,
good time.
we were all at the bar. You
We
don't
had a great
remember?
time. We celebrated your life. It was-
That's a good one. You pick a movie basically, and
Yeah.
you put like some characters in a thing, and you have to drink the whole
I'm
time
definitely
while.
down for doing something like that. That is
Yeah.
cool. We
Yeah.
used to do a game years ago. I'm a nerd with VHS, so I still collect VHS and have plenty of VHS tapes. But back in the day, everybody had VHS, and everybody seemed to have Titanic on VHS or Braveheart on VHS. So I would take the second tape from Titanic, because it was like one of the 2-packs. And I would take the second tape, and you put that in. And it just started because we had a bottle of Tequila Rose and Jack Daniels. So we split into the Jack team and the Rose team. And if you were on the Jack team, every time Rose says the name Jack, you have to do a shot of Jack Daniels. And vice versa for the Tequila Rose. There is one scene. Hello. Ooh, is this the Woodford Reserve that I heard about?
Oh yes.
Oh,
this is,
yes. I love good
That's
Woodford
all nice.
Reserve. But yeah, we put in the second half because pretty much within like 10 minutes of the second half, Jack's chained to the basement and the flood's happening and everything. And they're trying to find each other. And you have to have shots lined up because she's just going, Jack, Jack. And he's like, Rose, 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 Jack, Jack. For 5 minutes, the only dialogue is Jack and Rose. You trust me, Jack? I trust you, Rose. We gotta go. Jack, Rose, Jack, Rose, Jack, Rose. And you're just like, all right, we're done. We're done. Can't drink anymore ever again. But I guess you could, yeah, just pick any movie. Like you can pick, you want to do a marathon, pick Lord of the Rings and pick your favorite character because that one you get a bit of a break. You'd be like, I'm Frodo. For the first hour, this is gonna suck. But then, you know, other things start happening over here and I get a little bit of a break. But if you then should
To
team
the
up
Mandalorian.
The
As long as
Mandalorian
you don't
would
get
be
stuck
good.
with the Mandalorian.
As long as you don't get stuck with the Grogu or the Mandalorian.
Mandalorian.
Although Grogu, the last couple episodes, you'd have a little bit of a break. Spoilers.
Yeah, he wasn't. Grogu wasn't in the last one, and I was
know.
Not in the
disappointed.
last one,
But
no.
Bill Burr was. We just
No,
watched it.
I'm all about Grogu. I'm all about
yeah.
Grogu.
He is great.
He's my guy.
Oh yeah.
now,
It's a
as
great
far as
character.
that goes, like as far
The
as like
bit,
the Star
bit where he
Wars.
goes do the hand thing and he just
Yeah.
waves at it. It's amazing.
Yeah.
John Favreau is probably one
he's
of my
genius.
favorite directors.
He's genius. He created that show and really kind of turned it around
Yeah.
because I mean, from my knowledge, Star Wars is technically a British film because most of the original trilogy were filmed in the UK, like on sound
Yeah.
lots and everything over there. So do you guys have any are you just as big a fans of the Star Wars world over there? Is that something that is
Oh yeah, it's
universal,
it's huge over here. Yeah,
And then
yeah,
most of the
it's huge.
actors nowadays are all British anyway, so you know.
Have
but
you-
the
Yeah,
good ones, at
yeah.
least.
Wait.
Have you
Yeah,
run
it
into
seems-
anybody
seems-
that's into the Empire? Like just all about
Yeah, we
the
were talking
Empire?
about this before. Is anybody that you know that you've grown up with or friends with, was anybody 100% like wanting the Empire to win? Because I know a couple people that are like, I like the dark side. You?
This
All right.
guy.
Okay.
We were saying
Yeah, I
Dick
was-
Cheney probably really likes the Empire, and other bureaucrats that like to control people definitely probably like the Empire a lot. Do you
So-
just like
so
'cause
when
the
I was-
darkness? Put your hood
Well,
up.
with me, it was like when I was my first Star Wars figure was Darth Vader, and
Nice.
then we got dressed up. My mum wanted to dress us up for Halloween. I've got a younger sister.
Okay.
And to my mum's dismay, I wanted to be Darth Vader. My sister wanted to be Chewbacca.
Nice. That's perfect.
Hell yeah.
Fuck gender normities.
Yeah.
I want to be Chewie.
My sister was dressed as Chewbacca, except Chewbacca got a lightsaber because I had a lightsaber.
Yeah.
I had one, so she needed one, and then we went trick or treating with me getting hit around the head. She's younger than me. She's like 2 years younger than me, but about a foot taller than me. She was about a foot taller than me back then. She's still about like 2 inches taller than me.
Right.
She's like 2 years younger, but everybody thought we were twins when we were growing up because she's quite massive. When we were in school, she got the nickname Henry Rollins.
Okay.
Was she just sick of it all? She just didn't want to deal with anything? Yeah.
she once held a guy up by his throat because.
Ooh.
Damn.
Yeah.
Do you bring her on tour with you to protect you? Because
I should do.
You should. I was gonna say you're a lovely gentleman, but you're not, and you're not a tiny guy by any means. But you could have some muscle around.
Yeah.
That'd be a good thing to have.
She's great though. She's really funny. She's really funny, but yeah. When she brought home her first boyfriend, he was a weightlifter.
Okay.
And do you guys get the Milky Bar Kid?
I don't know what that is. Milky Bar Kid, no.
It's like right. So it's like a chocolate bar over here. It's a white chocolate bar.
Okay.
It was this like blonde hair, blue eyed, sort of round spectacled kid.
Okay.
Who would advertise it, and. And he was always dressed as a cowboy for some reason. He was like the Milky Bar Kid. Pretty stupid, but this guy looked like basically the Milky Bar Kid, but had been doing weights and been on the roids. He was
I have seen this before.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay. He just showed me a picture. I've definitely seen it. That's like almost like a nerdier version of Mike TV from Willy Wonka.
Sort of.
Yeah, that is weird. Yeah. Now I gotta say, I love British culture. It's one of, I think all of us kind of cling to it.
Especially humor.
It's mostly the humor because it's dry when it needs to be dry. It is goofy when it needs to be goofy. And I mean, everybody can agree that Monty Python was something that helped shape and produce so many other people outside of themselves. But
do you know the Goons who influenced?
No.
So it's a guy called Spike Milligan, who was actually in a couple of the Monty Python movies. Okay. And Spike Milligan, it started out as a radio show because it was before TV.
All right.
And then they did, the Goons was a huge influence on Monty Python, and they've always stated it. But Spike Milligan is one of the most genius comedians. And he passed away, well, it must be about 15, 20 years ago now, but he got them to put on his tombstone, "You see, I told you I was sick."
Oh,
that's on his actual tombstone. He's like even in death, he got the last laugh.
That's perfect.
I mean, some of the stuff obviously is of a time, and some of it, like, you watch it back now and you're like, "That's racist."
Yeah.
Sure.
Not a lot of things age well, and I always tend to take the approach of, what if you found out tomorrow that Picasso was a rapist? If, like, these diaries came out, Picasso was a serial rapist, does it change his art? And there's always this separating art from artist argument that I've gotten into plenty of times where it's like, I won't condone Kevin Spacey and for what he did to young children. That's terrible.
Right.
But it doesn't change that American Beauty and Seven and all of, like, The Usual Suspects doesn't change that those movies were amazing. It actually makes them a little bit more terrifying knowing that he was a terrible person in real life and just played these psychopaths so wonderfully. But with going off of the comedy thing though, when we grew up, like Monty Python, that was my dad was born in 49, so he was in his 20s and getting into them, and so I was born right into knowing all of that. We didn't really get The Doctor much until, like, the new iteration started happening.
No, my grandmother would watch that, like, every Christmas. We would get, like,
PBS,
it's weird.
We would get stuff, like, once in a while.
I would watch marathons of Doctor Who, the black and white, the original, on Christmas.
Where it was, like, an actual
Christmas
old man.
Yeah.
But is there anything from American like comedy culture that like crossed over to British that might like surprise us that you guys really in on? Did you get into like? Was Will Ferrell as big of a hit? Billy Madison or those like the Adam Sandler stuff?
Okay.
So you guys do like the goofy over the top stuff. That's good.
Yeah, Will Ferrell's really big over here. Like, so I support a soccer team. I'll call it soccer because we call it football because you use your feet.
Yes, it makes sense. But there are socks on those feet, all right?
Yeah, I call it throw ball, your one, but that's okay.
It makes a bit more
That's
sense.
fun, you know.
The most hated guy on the team is the only one that uses his foot, so it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, I've got names for all the sports in America, alternative names.
What do you call baseball?
There's hitball.
Hitball. Okay.
That works.
That works.
Bouncy ball for basketball.
Yep.
Of course.
Yeah.
Wrestling, big men cuddling.
Big men cuddling. My buddy used to call basketball just silly ball. He was like, it's just silly. They're just running around. What are they doing? This is just silly.
Yeah.
I used to play a bit basketball back in my day. So I quite like basketball.
Hell yeah.
Ice hockey is skatey fight.
Skatey fight.
That's a perfect name for it.
That is literally what they do. You skate, you fight. Skatey fight. That works.
Somebody's written, I can see the comments, and somebody's written Red Dwarf.
Red Dwarf.
That's my brother is in the chat there. Yeah, Red Dwarf. Yeah,
Red
he
Dwarf.
is a huge nerd as well. So yes, he literally
just
asked
said
what you call hockey. Skatey fight. There you go. There you go.
But yeah, so comedy wise, like I guess Will Ferrell. So Will Ferrell came to a couple of games of my soccer team, Portsmouth, which is South England, was where I'm from. Like Portsmouth's a weird place. It's its own thing. It's really hard to describe Portsmouth to anyone. You know Portsmouth, New Hampshire?
Yes.
So Portsmouth, Old Hampshire is where I'm from.
Weird.
And they're very similar. I played with a band called Scissor Fight from Portsmouth, New Hampshire. And we got discussing it's like a rough port town where the Navy is based and there's always fighting. But like you can't get away with not supporting the local football team, soccer team, sorry. So, but Will Ferrell came to a couple of games and we won those games. And he came on the pitch at half time dressed as Anchorman.
Oh, hell yeah.
That's cool.
And so now every time he turns up, we all like, we've got Anchorman, we're going to win.
Hell yeah. All right, well, not to cut that off, but we are now joined, finally, and I am shocked. Okay, no, I'm not. That he's here this quickly. We are now joined by Mr. Zachary Storman.
Hello! What's up, dude?
Hello, geezer.
How you doing?
What, geezer?
Now we're just talking about comedy and how like all of us are huge fans of British humor, British comedy, British music, like everything British culture.
Well, my grandmother's from London.
Yeah. So you've got more of a direct connection. I've got the dirty bog-feeded Irish blood over here.
My uncle had a pub. Well, my grandmother's brother had a pub in London.
Yeah.
I never went there, but I tell
It
people that
exists.
it sounds cool.
Existed.
Do you know where it is in London?
He doesn't have it anymore. I don't know what the name of it was. This was the 70s and 80s. He had a pub.
Do you know which area it was in, by any chance?
Nope.
Nope.
My parents never took me to England.
They're American here now, so they just drop all that shit. That's the deal. When you become American, you have to just throw everything else out. We don't like new stuff. The first 130 years were for bringing new culture. Now it's for maintaining that false
We
culture.
only like
when
new
I
in
was-
the name.
When I was born, my parents used to go over to England all the time.
Yeah,
and
but they didn't tell
they
people
had
about
kids,
that.
and they were like, I'm not dragging these rotten children on a plane over the fucking ocean.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Yeah, especially the two of you. It'd
Like,
be terrible.
you can go on your own time.
Well, as somebody who travels on planes and stuff quite a lot, I thank your parents for not doing that because
Right.
the amount of bloody kids on a plane. I'm
Yeah.
It is pretty
like, I
terrible.
don't know if you guys know Bill, are fans of Bill Hicks, but that
Oh yeah.
that whole sketch about the kid like playing with the airlock door.
Yeah,
and stuff like
Yep.
that. I'm like, I've been there.
Yeah, no, that is. I remember we were. I'm from a huge family. I'm one of 10 children. My parents had 10 kids because they were not able to have cable. They're Irish and they're religious. Pick a combination of that. And
a lot of power outages.
A lot of power outages. And we'd go on vacations, but usually we would just drive. We would have a giant 15-passenger van. If we were going from Pennsylvania to Florida, we would just drive. But I remember being probably about 5 or 6, so there were about 7 of us, and they took us all on a plane to California. So it's a 6-hour flight, 5-hour flight, whatever it is. And all of us were there, and I just remember my dad being like, all right, like, I fly for a living. I'm just giving you things to distract you. And this is when they had the big screen on the walls, and you didn't need headphones. They were just playing the movie. People were probably still smoking because it was like 91. And I remember being given... my dad just knew that I was fat, or maybe he was just making me fat, and it was just a way to just kind of like distract me. He gave me like a thing of Starbursts, and he was like, here, and I love Starbursts, and I just never got them, and I molded them into different I didn't eat them. I sat there like a child with some problem, and I pushed all of the colors together, and I was making statues. I made a big ball. My hands were just covered in shit, so I can only imagine everybody else in the plane looking at this fat little kid on the corner, just like But at least I wasn't screaming. I'm sure the younger ones were screaming, though. They were definitely. But yeah, bring kids on a plane. Never a good time. Never a good time. I always appreciate people not doing that.
Me and my sister, my parents told me and my sister, when we actually lived in the States, in DC for about 6 months.
Oh, nice.
When we, because of my dad's job, I can't really go into what my dad did, but he was in DC.
Oh, we see.
Anyway, but yeah, so we were flown over, and my mum said, "Oh, you were good as gold. You got on the plane, you fell asleep, and you woke up when we got the other side." I said, "Oh, what about my sister?" It was like, "Well, she tried to stick sweets up her nose. She was colouring with crayons on the seat. She was screaming." I was like, fun times. Yeah. Like, one kid just fell asleep.
Yeah.
And now my sister really hates flying, and she lived in Australia for like 9 years.
And she just took boats everywhere.
Well, she flew out there, but she wouldn't just come back. I think she came back twice in 9 years. I think I went out there more times than she.
How long does it take to fly to Australia from you?
From us,
so we're like 17 hours from California, I think it is.
Yeah, so it's something like, if you only have like a short stopover, I think you can do it in 14.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah,
all right. That's crazy.
But I think I've done it like 20, because I had a show out because I was touring out there.
Okay.
And I set off the evening of Christmas Eve, not realizing that I'd spent the whole Christmas day in the air because the time zone changed.
Yeah.
I landed at 7 a.m. on Boxing Day on the 26th.
Right.
I landed, and my sister says to me, "Oh, what time's your show today?" And I said, "Oh, my show's not till Boxing Day." And she's like, "No, it is Boxing Day, you idiot." I was like, "Oh shit!" So literally, like, I've slept in the taxi on the way back. Had about an hour on a couch, and then had to go, and I had 2 shows in one day.
Fuck.
Oh, jeez.
Now, can you explain? This is something I've never looked up. I hear it referenced all the time. What is Boxing Day? Because we don't
it's the
do
it's
that.
the 26th.
Yeah.
It's the 26th. So
Is that
it's
when you
the
put
day
all
off.
of your return items in the boxes and bring them to the store because your parents bought you shitty things?
No, actually, the real reason is it was the servants, like Downton Abbey shit. Here we go. I've never watched Downton Abbey. But it's where all the servants got to unwrap their presents, because they'd be serving the family on Christmas Day, so they would do it. Now
That's cool and sad.
Now my partner's actually Finnish, and their Christmas Day is actually Christmas Eve.
Really?
Weird.
The Finns.
Well, we've got Christmas all over the world to talk about tonight, and we are going to get to that in a little bit. But first, we have beverages to drink. And you've got a comment about our beverage from last week. So we've got to jump into what are we drinking, Justin? Hit it.
We drink it so you don't have to. Rub you in the morning from the bathroom. Cheap booze and craft brews. Rub you in the morning from the bathroom. What are we drinking? What are we drinking?
Alrighty, guys. So we are always drinking something on the show, and this season we've been going through a lot of different beer and ranking it on a scale of 0 to 100. If you have, I know you said that you've had our one featured beer before and you've enjoyed it. We are drinking Blue Moon as our tasting beer. So if you can, from recollection, give us a grade when we go into that, definitely jump in. But Blue Moon is a Belgian white, Belgian style wheat ale, as we were discussing earlier. They were sued for saying Belgian wheat because they are not a Belgian wheat. I have told this story plenty of times that in the 90s, Blue Moon approached a number of, Coors approached a number of microbreweries and tried to buy a very similar style beer, one of them being Leinenkugel's and their Sunset Wheat, and they really, really wanted the recipe, and all of these companies refused to sell. It was the beginning of the boom, and people were like, nope, we're going to do it on our own. We're going to be good. We'll be fine. Right. So Blue Moon turned around, and Coors turned around, and they made Blue Moon. And the way I always say it, to kind of give it a dig, is that they fucked up the recipe. They couldn't get that citrus flavor right. So now they tell you when you drink a Blue Moon to put an orange slice on it because that gives it the proper taste.
Right.
I never put an orange slice in it. I think it is better without the orange slice, but it is still not as good as what they wanted it to be.
I think they also changed some of the stuff up because they're really on the side now going on about this Valencia orange peel.
Oh, yeah. They're all about that. They're now going like, hey, we figured out what was wrong. Yeah, we need to put oranges in it, doy. So we're drinking this, but you were actually drinking, you were drinking before, I don't know if you still have it, an actual Belgian, correct?
Yeah, so this is actually an actual Belgian white wheat
and
beer.
Who is this from? It's a triple?
And it's made by monks. It's called Triple Caramelite. It's made by monks in a monastery.
As it should be.
My favourite beer of all time.
Hell yeah.
And it's it's about 11.5%.
Ooh. Oh, that's a good one. That is really, this is what, 4?
What is this? Does it say on
They
it?
don't advertise. No, 5.4%. 5.4%.
So it's higher than normal.
Higher than other beer.
Yeah.
So what I'd say Blue Moon is more like a is a little bit like a Hoegaarden.
Exactly is what it feels like.
It's like a shit Hoegaarden.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Hoegaarden is already kind of like, I like it, but it's kind of
It's like you sort of, like you guys say, the well. It's like the well of beers.
Yeah.
It's like in Belgium that and Stella Artois are like, and Jupiler are like
Well, that is the craziest thing with Stella is that here, if you get a Stella, you're getting a fancy beer.
Yeah, it's expensive.
It's expensive, and the gold rim and the knife sliding across the top, like it is all about presentation.
Well, it's kind of the same here because it's an they export it, but actually Stella in Belgium is like way better.
Oh, I'm sure.
In
that
Belgium
happens with most beers like
than
that.
in like the UK or in the States.
Yeah,
but it's funny. Yeah, it's kind of Stella is seen as until recently was seen as quite a. Now we're actually getting the proper Belgium stuff over here,
nice.
Like Caramelite and Lef and stuff.
Can you get Blue Moon over there?
Yes, we do. Yeah, the supermarket Sainsbury's does it, and my local co-op does it. Literally, like just up the road.
Very cool.
Our co-op is great. It has a weird selection of beers. It has like its own brand beers.
Okay.
All of which are called, like, you have an IPA, you have a triple hop, you have a lager.
No names.
They all taste the same.
That's good.
Just different labels.
Yeah. Well, it's just to get you to buy all of them, It's like Pokemon. You gotta collect them all.
But they do Blue Moon up there. So, we do get Blue Moon. I don't think I've ever put an orange in it. I think unless somebody's put it in it at a bar or something.
Yeah. Now, we've all had this before. This is a beer that I really
I've never had this in the can.
I've never had it in a can. I'm liking it out of the can.
I don't mind it.
It's easier to drink. I killed one already since the beginning of the show. That was pretty quick. Justin, do you ever opt for a Blue Moon?
I used to.
You used to?
Like when I first started going out to the bars, I think I was drinking Blue Moon more than anything.
Yeah.
Only because it was at the time.
It was different. It was
it was different, and also it wasn't Miller or Budweiser.
Exactly. And Shock Top kind of jumped on at
Sort
that
of,
point, like
but I never
late
got into
2000,
Shock Top
like
stuff.
2009, 2010. It got really, really popular, and that was just Budweiser ripping off Coors, who made Blue Moon, who is ripping off other real brewers. On a scale of 0 to 100, Justin, what do you give a Blue Moon, seeing that it is a Belgian white, a Belgian style wheat ale?
Well, considering it's not a Belgian white anymore and it's the style, reminds me more of the Hope Garden or even a Pilsner, I would say 45.
45. Zach, what do you give a Blue Moon on a scale of 0 to 100?
Now, Belgium is my favorite style.
Yes.
For sure.
Oh, yeah.
I love the Einstock.
That's good.
That's Icelandic, though.
That's Icelandic, yes.
I don't know how to say it. Tim said it different. He said left. I always said leffe.
Oh, yeah.
The leffe.
Left, yeah. It's
Left.
actually left, pronounced left. Left, because it's French.
Oh,
Yeah,
all right.
okay.
French Belgium.
What's the other
Like the Chimay and stuff like that.
the Chimay.
The Franziskaner.
Franziskaner.
Yeah.
Which I love that so many people in America call Franziskaner Francis Connor.
Yeah.
So
That's
when
because I'm American and it's a Franziskaner.
when I first worked in a bar and they sold Franziskaner, people were like, oh, can I get the Francis Connor? And it was like a big wine restaurant bar. And I'm like looking at all the wine bottles going, I think we're out of Francis Connor. Like this, whatever label this is, we don't have right now. And then I went to the bartender. I'm like, do we have Francis Connor? He's like, yeah, I got it right here. And he opens. I went, Francis Connor? Oh, you idiots. Okay.
I used to drink a ton of that.
Yeah.
That was my favorite.
The Dunkel was my beer of choice, but we can't get it in the U.S. right now for whatever. The last couple of years, we can't get the Francis Connor or Hefeweizen Dunkel.
Now when I first started drinking, this was like,
Premium.
ooh, you didn't get a Bud Light or a Miller Light, you know? And on tap and in bottles, I always thought it had way more Belgian wheat style.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In a bottle, this in this fucking can does not taste like I remember Blue Moon.
This tastes
more
really
orange.
light. It
It
does
tastes
have
more
orange.
orange
And
than
again, this is going to be the easiest beer to just like crush. We should have got more of them. But what do you give it 0 to 100, Zach?
I'm fucking thoroughly disappointed.
All right.
I'm giving it a 35.
35. All right. I'm not disappointed. I think I like the can better. We all know I like it in the can. And I'm going to give it a 60. It's not great. It's below failing for us in the grading ways. But I think it's a 6 out of 10 for what it is, being an imitation of something. It is passable if you poured it in a glass and hand it to me.
I totally disagree.
Yeah, I think it's
not
an all right
passable
beer.
as wheat.
James
Not as
says
a wheat.
Rip Dunkel.
Rip Dunkel, for sure. Now, Tim, you've had it in the past. What would you, on a 0 to 100, being able to get really good Belgian beer over there, what would you give a Blue Moon?
Yeah, I mean, I might be fair and say like about 50 out of 100.
All right.
Sort of like,
Down the middle.
It's palatable.
Right.
It's palatable and it's better than like you guys were drinking and like I know the UK you were drinking Carling last week,
which is crazy that Zach did that research on the show and then you messaged me and you're like, this is literally the beer that when you go to most venues. You said that they're the one that they'll like sponsor the venue or whatever. They're just like
like they sponsored like there was the Astoria, which is sadly no longer there, and the LA2. Also no longer there because that's been knocked down for the Crossrail, but that's where I saw Danzig.
Oh, nice.
And it was like I think the Brixton Academy they sponsored, the Hammersmith Apollo they sponsored.
Jesus.
So they became like the Carling Academies. And for a while that was the only bit, that or the other beer that they made, which is Foster's.
We almost got the big oil cans of Foster's for tonight.
So bad.
Foster's is not Australian. It's made in the UK.
Okay.
I'm
Really?
sorry, I
But
hate
it's-
Foster's.
But it's Australian for beer.
Australian for beer. It's
But
Australian.
it isn't though, because
No.
they don't drink it out there.
Yeah.
I've toured in Australia and they were like, yeah, we don't drink Foster's. It might have been invented here, but it's brewed in the
You
UK.
just imagine everyone's got a giant hand holding a giant can, just walking around.
Last time I had one of those big ones,
Yeah.
I was like at the beach when I was like 18,
Yeah.
like you know what I mean, like end of like
more
summer,
bang
like,
for your buck
yeah,
is the
just
thought.
and
Yeah.
somebody's older brother's like, yeah, I can get you guys beer. I'm like, well, I have like $6. So, I'll get you 2 Fosters. You'll be good,
You'll be
man.
fine. It's 190 ounces and 2 beers.
Yeah.
You're gonna
So,
die.
Yeah, you do this, you hit the beach, get sunburned, it'll be great. And I'm 18. I'm like, yeah, Foster's is awesome.
Cover yourself in some, oil and stuff. Not like cooking oil, though, to really cook your skin.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
you go
So if
for
you go
just
to an
water.
old school pub over here, like
Yeah.
your choice will be Foster's, Carling, Heineken, or probably if it's a fancy pub, Stella. But those pubs are dying out really quickly
Right.
now.
I
Like
bet.
proper there'll be like 5 old guys in flat caps like drinking in them, and you're like, this pub is going to be a gastro pub in about 2 minutes.
I miss nasty ass
Bars.
bars.
Yeah. I miss dives. I love a good dive. It's hole in the walls are great.
Yeah.
And a lot of them, I'm sure, internationally, a lot of them are not doing well right now because, especially in here, if you're not selling food, you can't be open because you can't just be in there to drink right now.
Yeah, everywhere is fucking fancy.
Yeah, everybody had to turn into a restaurant. I work at what was a dive bar. It is now one of the most respected restaurants in our town because my boss has just turned it around so quickly to deal with all of this. And so it's a total change of pace.
Have you had the substantial meal thing then hit over there as well?
Well, they basically said that you have to, in order to be consuming alcohol, our regulations in our state, because everything's broken down state to state.
Yeah.
So in Pennsylvania, you have to be ordering food that would warrant a meal.
Right.
And they've had arguments over that because I'm like, what's warranting a meal? Who are you to tell me? Because we're all about freedom here. You can't tell me what a meal is. To me, a meal is 17 mozzarella sticks. Fuck you, go
Or a
away.
basket of French fries.
A basket of French fries.
So over here, that's been the same thing.
Yeah.
We've had the same thing. You can only have a drink with a substantial meal. And there was a whole thing about Scotch eggs.
Ooh.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
So is a Scotch egg a substantial meal?
They did that with wings over here. They were like, in New York, like, wings don't constitute a meal. I'm like, 12 wings is a fucking shitload of food, man. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. I mean, I know you guys do portions a lot bigger, but yeah, it was funny. And then we got MPs, like we've got some like Boris's pals.
Yeah.
We're like, oh, well, I like a Scotch egg, and it just got fucking sickening. It all became about the Scotch eggs.
Yeah.
Now, what is a Scotch egg? That's
So
the
it's
egg
an
with the ham?
egg. Yeah, it's an egg covered in pork, then covered in breadcrumbs, and then deep fried.
Okay,
That sounds
that's what I
delicious.
thought.
So it's an American snack. That's just a snack here.
Yeah.
We do that for
I'll have
like
12.
11
Yeah.
Yes.
You can only order them by
A dozen.
a dozen.
It's a dozen.
That's a minimum order.
And it's a baker's dozen, so you get 13.
And times are hard, so the prices just went up. They're like $45.
They
for
are,
that
they
dozen.
And it comes with just like some sort of mayo-based sauce. Just slam it
No,
on.
don't disrespect aioli.
All right.
Aioli.
Aioli. It's just mayo. Now, we do have another beer that, Zach,
We almost
if you
didn't
read
get
this,
this.
we almost didn't get this. It's from Evil Genius Beer Company. It is the mimosa of beers, brewed alongside Miller High Life, and it is called Brunch So Hard Orange and Mango IPA.
Have you read the hashtags on this?
I did not. What do we got on
Hashtag
there?
brunch. Hashtag brunch goals. Hashtag brunch life. Hashtag
Oh, we
brunch
need to
vibes.
jump on these
Hashtag
hashtags.
resting brunch face. Hashtag brunch so hard. Hashtag brunch squad. Hashtag wait, I gotta boomerang this. Hashtag
I'm going to hashtag all these
treating
hashtags from now
yourself.
on.
Hashtag all the feels. Hashtag you're basic.
All right, so this is
basic.
again, you're basic.
You're basic.
This is 6.5%.
Wait, is this brewed with Miller High Life?
Yes.
Yeah, and it is an orange and
Because
mango
it's got the,
IPA.
like a,
and it also has the Miller High Life
well,
logo
no, it
on
does-
it right there.
But I'm talking about the girl.
Yeah, that's the girl.
Yeah, but it's not.
But it's not.
It's not.
It's a evil genius version of her.
Yeah.
It's an imitation. Now, we have had plenty of Evil Genius in the past. We've had some on the show during this grading time. I've never been disappointed. They always have really funny names. They have one that is probably the most popular.
That's on the label.
Purple Monkey
Very silly names
Dishwater.
for very serious beers.
That is literally what they say there. I'm excited to see this paired next to the Blue Moon. So we're tasting the Blue Moon. We're going to give this a taste.
Smells way better.
And then we're going to have to get into some music because we are rocking and rolling here. Ooh, that does...
I like
Smells
this.
juicy.
I
Now,
like
it's
it.
funny. I burped out as I was inhaling, so I really just got my burp there on the second one. And James says that Blue Moon tastes like someone else's burp.
Yes.
I literally just inhaled my own burp of Blue Moon, and it's not good. So I'm not taking any points away from Blue Moon on that. But the burp definitely was good. Now, I'm excited to try this, so we're going to give this a little sipper. That is a very light IPA. That is not super hoppy.
It's dry at the end,
It is
but
dry
it
at
is
the
very
end.
good.
It's got some fruitiness to it. I was expecting a little bit more punchy in the face, but for 6.4% and the juiciness of this is actually a crushable beer. This is a very crushable feeling beer. We'll see how we feel after one of them, and if we would...
True.
I mean, there's only one more left, and I have it. But we would see if we would want any more of this. Tim, while we are tasting this, what else are you drinking over there? Anything else? You got a nice variety?
I've got a Peckham Session, which is I used to live in Peckham. It's not very far from here. It's about like 4 miles maybe away.
Nice.
It's another part of London. This is from the beer company that my friend opened a beer shop called Water into Beer. And he puts on gigs there. I've played there 6 times since he opened in January 2018.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm now his new delivery driver for Christmas.
Nice.
He said he lost an employee, and you're like, I'll help out.
Yeah. Basically, he messaged me going, I'm in a real stick. I know you've got a car.
Yeah.
Because, like, where I live in London...
Not a lot of cars.
Not an awful lot of people own cars.
Right.
There's public transport everywhere.
Oh, yeah, it's the same as New York or
any major city.
besides
Here.
Los Angeles, most cities have really good public transportation, so you usually don't need a car.
Los Angeles, I would say, doesn't have good public transport.
No, everything but
great.
LA. LA, I lived...
When did you ever ride the subway in LA?
I rode the subway a couple times in LA. It was sketchy as hell. And I have lived in LA 3 separate times in my life, and I have never owned a car living in LA, and only one of those times did Uber exist. So I was the rat king of the fucking bus lines there. I knew the bus lines, I knew how to get to where and the intervals and everything.
Name. Rat king of the bus
line. That's the really
that's
good
free.
name.
That's for you.
That's
out
free.
there.
You can take that. Anybody, make it just hashtag brunch
I
so
have
hard.
used the public transport in LA, and I don't know whether it's just me, or maybe the fact that I was carrying a guitar, but it seemed to be like a lunatic magnet in LA.
Yes,
every time
if you can't afford to live in LA so much that you can't afford a car and you are then taking public transportation, you are on the you are either a hardworking single mother or a father that just doesn't have a car. But I got ostracized by everybody on the bus all the time. I would get yelled at because I was a white kid on the bus, and there were very few white people that took the bus at all out there. And it was the one guy literally just turned, there was me and another white guy sitting next to me on the bus. And everybody else is pretty much, you got a lot of, it used to be Mexico, so you have a lot of people that are of Mexican heritage. You have a lot of Asian, and they're all, going to work. They're doing whatever they're doing. And one guy, one time, just screamed at me that he screamed hey gringo, what is your fucking Beamer in the shop? Get off the bus. And I was like, what? And the guy next to me went, it's a Porsche, and it's in the shop. And I went, oh no. So I'm not saying do brown face or anything, but you might just want to wear a mask. And now it's a great time to wear a mask. That's a great time.
Public transport for all.
But it is crazy people, and then people that are just not as fortunate to have worldly possessions that allow them to drive to work. But most of them are just people that I think live on the bus, and they just drive around, because LA is kind of a welfare city. There are tent cities everywhere. As much as the glamour and the glitz of it all, it is really the disparity between wealthy and poor is you got a guy who's
literally the worst.
Such a weird
city ever, dude.
It is. Zach and I have both lived there separately, and it has a special place in my heart because I enjoy it for what it is. It is a plastic city with plastic people, and you can just walk around and everyone's nice to you because they don't know who you are, and you might be something that they can get something from. And I'm not anybody you can get anything from, but I'll take that fake bullshit while I'm going into a store and I'm dressed like a schmuck.
So when I was one time when I was in LA, I'm exactly like you. I just like, yeah, this is not real. Like one of my games in LA is walking down Hollywood Boulevard and trying to see how many shit Spider-Men I see.
Yes. I employed a lot of those guys. I ran a pop-up bar that was a Tim Burton themed pop-up bar called Beetle House for a while.
I remember you saying, yeah.
And we had guys that were, the one guy played, I don't know if you've ever seen Reno 911.
Oh yeah, I love it.
So this one guy was Lieutenant Dangle.
On
Hollywood Boulevard,
amazing.
but he was Dangle on PCP with like the fairy wings and everything, like that episode. So he was walking around. We hired the Willy Wonka off of Hollywood Boulevard. Like all these guys, most of them are psychopaths, but we lucked out and had like the actual good actors that were like, no, I'm just really good at doing my own makeup, doing my own costume, my own hair, and I can walk around and just fake the Willy Wonka, the newer Willy Wonka, the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Johnny Depp style. And so we hired a bunch of these guys, but most of them, shitty Spider-Man, like the shitty fat Batman that you're just like looking at him, you're like, what? Yeah. You're not, like, your gut is hanging out and people are still taking pictures with you. It's fucking disturbing.
So my one was that Depeche Mode had been playing in LA that night, and I think it's the Sunset Hotel,
okay,
a really fancy hotel, was where they were staying. My friend Jade, I'd just finished the tour. We'd played in Tijuana the night before, and I was like, I got one day to like knock around before I caught my flight home. In LA, and I was hanging out with my friend Jade because I hadn't seen her since 2000, and this was like 2018, so I hadn't seen each other in 18 years properly. She'd been at my show and we'd like reconnected and hung out. So anyway, we're there now. Jade works in fashion, and she's not she's like a manager, but like she's not a bad looking young lady, shall we say.
Yeah.
And she'd brought two of her models along who were just like hot. So I'm sat there looking like fucking Rasputin, like I do.
You do have a little bit of a Rasputin thing, but that bodes well for you in the penis region, because that guy had a donger. I'm just saying.
But so I'm sat there with these, like, I'm dressed all in black as well, and like drinking whiskey. And there's this like two models and this beautiful girl, and we're all like chatting outside in the sort of garden bit of the hotel, and some members of Depeche Mode's touring team, none that I recognised, so I guess it was like mostly the backing musician stuff guys, because I know Dave Garan doesn't drink, or the other fella that you'd recognise doesn't drink. But yeah, so there's like people like sniffing round trying to work out like, oh, which members are in Depeche Mode.
Yeah.
And I'm English.
Yes.
So
you're English and you're wearing all black and you're brooding.
Yeah,
looking.
I'm there with these beautiful women. And,
you're definitely the lead singer of Depeche Mode to anybody that doesn't know.
I'm definitely something to do with Depeche Mode, but these guys just would not leave me alone. So I had to put on a really terrible New York accent.
Yes.
To get rid of them.
Do you mind trying? Because I would love to hear.
I was like from New York, you know. It's terrible.
But you know what?
I just sound like Coach Steve from Big Mouth.
Yes, that's fine. That's fine. Because you know what? Those people exist, and some of them are from New York.
See, that's hilarious, because the three of us can put on a New York accent.
Yeah, how you doing over there?
Yeah.
If I go to the fucking
doing over
about
there?
this and that, and how you doing, how am I doing?
Tell me I'm not wrong. You go to like the deli, and the guy at the deli is like, you're like, yeah, hey, we want full on, like, oh yeah, give me and like
I want the hot salami.
Yeah, all of a sudden I have
salami.
the accent, and I can't help it. I'm ordering
Oh yeah.
I'm ordering a sandwich at the deli, and I got the, you know what I mean?
You're like,
It's
yo,
like,
bro, yeah. So
it's
I
so
don't know.
easy to slip into that for us.
And then when I was working in Boston,
I would genuinely
the
love
Boston
it though if I talked to somebody in New York and they did sound like Coach Steve. No.
They're definitely out
When
there.
you come back here, we're gonna find you a New York Coach Steve, and it's gonna be. We're just gonna have you have a conversation with him in that.
Real
All right,
quick,
yes.
I'm giving this an 85.
85. You're gonna give it an 85. We do need to rank this one here, Zach. What are you gonna give the brunch so
Disappointed.
hard? You're disappointed?
Yeah, 57.
57.
Ooh.
I thought it was going to be harsher as an IPA, but knowing that they're trying to go for the mimosa of beers, I'm going to go in the middle there. I'm going to say it's a 72. It's not super impressive, but is above failing grade. So I will give it that. All right. So before we get off at any more tangents, we do need to speak on our song that we recorded for this week.
Right.
Now, we've already told you that we are doing a cover of Feliz Navidad. While we were finishing it, Zach goes, are we going to get taken down for this? Because this song's only like, I was like, it's 50 years old. So we might get taken down for releasing a cover of this. We might get hit for it. Who knows?
Fair use act.
Fair use act. Well,
We're not doing anything
Patriot Act. Just pick an act. We're operating under that. We're listening to you at home, and we're drinking beer, and we're going to play this song. Now, we did an international version where we do, I think I said 7 different languages, 6 different languages. The song is...
No, it's an intergalactic version.
It is.
is.
I did say that
It
before.
is.
It is an intergalactical version. So we do speak in Spanish because it's already in Spanish, and English. So that's 2. And then Norwegian, Thai, German, French, and Klingon in here. Now, to
real
accompany
quick.
that, we did also change up the genre
Yes.
of the music with each language.
Right.
So what was your real quick?
I was just gonna say, Tim, I just want your opinion on how you think we did with the pairing to music,
Yes.
to the language.
To the language, because you might be closer to at least the I mean, we both have
French.
Spanish close to us, but Norwegian, German, French.
Yeah.
I don't know if
Okay.
you know any of those languages, if you can speak and dabble.
Petit foncé.
Okay.
Okay.
So that'll be the one you can judge and see how we do there.
just more like
then
the scene
pairing
of what-
of the music to the lyrics or to the language. Zach, what were the genres? Spanish into English. We just went traditional with that
the
one.
traditional Feliz Navidad acoustic guitar.
Yes. Then we transition very abruptly into Norwegian,
Black metal.
black metal, and then we go to Thai.
So that one is sort of the roundabout way.
Yeah.
If you know the band Crumbin,
Yes.
people call them a Thai funk band. They're actually from Texas.
Yes.
But they
wear ties.
Their name is Thai.
Okay.
It's a Thai word. Their
Okay.
name. And because they dress very strangely,
Okay.
no one can really tell. Like, are these guys American?
So
like,
what genre of music do you put them under?
They're like a sort
Funk?
of like
It's funk?
It's a little funk. It's
Yeah.
a little like laid back
All right.
sort of.
All right,
funk.
and then the next one we did is we went German,
Yeah, like Kraftwerk.
just straight up. We just went
German techno.
German techno, and then we went French.
Yeah, we went like French pop, a little bit of like.
The modern day pop, which sounds a lot like Tiffany and Debbie Gibson.
Yeah, if you know Christine and the Queens.
Yes.
And then a little bit of Daft Punk at the end.
Little bit.
Just because.
a little bit.
Why not?
And then finally, Klingon. War battle music? I don't know what we did there. We did what
How
we
did
thought.
we end up on Klingon?
I had an idea of another language because you were like,
Okay.
what other language? We were going to do like Korean and we were going to do K-pop. And then I was like, hold on one second. And I found a Klingon translator online and I typed in Merry Christmas and it came up Kush Kishmash. And it's basically a bastardization based on like a label on a Christmas present in some episode that somebody gives Worf, I guess, that I've never noticed.
I don't
And
remember a
I don't-
Christmas episode with
I don't
Worf,
remember at
but-
all. But apparently some other nerd did the research and I'm standing on their shoulders here. So we threw in Klingon there. Now, lyrically, it's just the song Feliz Navidad, which is Feliz Navidad, Prospero Año y Feliz Navidad, which just means Merry Christmas and a happy and prosperous New Year. And then I want to wish you a Merry Christmas from the bottom of my heart. All of the lyrics in the song are that. and translated versions of that. The only thing that we changed is in Klingon, because it was so inconsistent. I found about 12 different translators. The final line from it's Kush Kishmash Evutu Web Disgov Dwakam, which is Merry Christmas, I hope this year brings you honor.
Fair enough.
Which is a very Klingon thing to say. Yeah. I will say that aside from Zach going crazy as he usually does on the musical side of things that we've already discussed a little bit, the more fun of this, and we didn't spend too much time, was the drums.
Yeah.
So Justin, you, again, every single language listed here, there's a different genre.
Yes.
Which one was the hardest one for you to get through?
I don't know if they were really that hard to get through.
You kind of figured it out. Like,
I mean, to be
good.
fair on my part, some of the stuff kind of bleeds together. Like when you start doing like some of the funk and the Daft Punk style, they kind of are similar in the feel. But,
Andy Moose in the chat real
fun.
quick is saying he hates how good my Klingon accent is. Thank you. Zach said I sounded like Sean Connery singing it, so we'll see how that comes out.
Sean Connery.
Sean Connery. Oh,
I had a lot of fun with it, though.
Yes. It was a fun
I
time.
once had a drink with Sean Connery's brother.
Really?
Oh, that's cool.
Ooh, that's a claim to fame right there.
Is John?
Is it John Connery? Was it John Connery?
I can't remember his name now, but he looked like basically what Sean Connery would look like if he'd have stayed in Scotland.
Okay.
Okay.
And didn't have money and people pripping and prodding him and everything like that. All right, well, we're going to jump into this. Tim, you're going to be able to listen along here with us.
This is a long one.
So it's a long one?
It's Neil Connery. Sorry.
Neil Connery. Ooh.
Neil.
8:45.
All right, so this is a 9-minute song, so we got to jump into this. We don't do covers lightly. We did a 10+ minute version of We Three Kings last year, so go check that out if you'd like to after the show. After the show, guys, don't rush. So here it is. Tim, you're going to be muted during this part, but you can listen along. So here you have it. Here is the Brunch weekly original single that we wrote, recorded, mixed, and mastered all today. We didn't really write it. We covered, mixed, and mastered it, recorded it all today in the last 5 hours. Here it is. Feliz Navidad Internacional. Enjoy.
Galaxy Edition.
Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad, prospero año y felicidad. Feliz Navidad, Feliz Navidad, Feliz Navidad, prospero año y felicidad. I wanna wish you a Merry Christmas. I wanna wish you a Merry Christmas. I wanna wish you a Merry Christmas from the bottom of my heart. Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad. Prospero año y felicidad. Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad, prospero año y felicidad. I wanna wish you a Merry Christmas. I wanna wish you a Merry Christmas. I wanna wish you a Merry Christmas from the bottom of my heart. want to wish you a Merry Christmas. I want to wish you a Merry Christmas.
All right, guys, there you have it. Our intergalactical version of Feliz Navidad. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So you say you know a little bit of French. Passable for French, passable for the French there, too?
You were kind of making the French a bit more Spanish.
I have a hard time not being Spanish. It's a weird thing for a white guy.
And the funny thing is, like, you guys would use more Mexican Spanish.
Yes.
Right.
The Spanish is totally different to Mexican Spanish.
True. Very
Yeah,
true.
here it's all Mexican Spanish.
Yeah, it's Mexican or Puerto Rican. I had a Spanish teacher, a Mexican teacher. I had a Spanish teacher who was Puerto Rican growing up. So when I had my first 2 years of Spanish, thank you, Jeffrey. We learned the first 2 years from a Puerto Rican lady, and then I went to a white lady who learned Spanish in school, and then she was our teacher, and half of everything we learned was wrong because our teacher was probably right. We have a larger Puerto Rican population around here. I should learn Puerto Rican Spanish.
Yeah, and
but
there's so many
work.
different like original Spanish even has like different dialects and stuff. Like,
yeah, because I have a buddy that's from Catalan, and his they're totally different language.
Totally different language.
Yeah, and I'm like,
Catalonian
are you in
is a different
Spain?
language.
And he's like, nope, totally different language. And I'm like, all right, cool, bueno, whatever, buddy.
Yeah, because like maybe like Madrid, the Madrid Spanish, and they speak it with like a slight lisp. So
yes.
It's like gracias and so yeah, I tour all over Spain and the Basque is technically in Spain, but it's its own country.
Really?
The Basque country.
Wow.
And that is like nothing like Spanish. Like Catalonian, you can tell it's still a Latin language.
Yeah.
But Basque is a Celtic language, like Gaelic, like
really?
Traditional Irish and Scottish.
That reminds me of like the mountains of West Virginia, where there are people that have been living at like in the Appalachian Trail, and you cannot talk to them in English. They're speaking some bastardized version of English. You might almost like Welsh, you know, like how Welsh is like Welsh, but it's not English, and there's different options.
No, Welsh is it's a Gaelic language.
Yeah,
Welsh is an entirely different language to English. English is technically a Germanic language, wherefore Welsh is a Celtic language. Yeah, it's mental. My partner is Finnish, and that language is like Klingon is nearer to English than Finnish.
Yeah. They put like 4 L's in a row on a word, and you're like, is that like yell? Like what? Do you just hold the L longer?
And it's like she was telling me the other day. Like basically, one word can mean like I'd like a cup of tea, and other words is just calling somebody a cunt.
Oh,
so,
yeah, that's fine. That's fine. You know what? I am a fan of that word. I like to tell people all the time when they're offended by words that they're just grunts and groans that morphed in and evolved into things that we assign meaning to. So if you ever say there's a bad word,
has my best bit on that, or my favorite bit on that,
on the cunt thing.
Yeah.
What is it?
He basically just says that he's like it's an elegant word.
Yeah.
It rolls off the tongue nice. Like
cunt,
it's
cunt.
Yeah.
Like, it's who would ever call a vagina a cunt? Like who would ever do? Yeah, that bit. Yeah. I would never.
I forget as well because over here, like that.
It's like calling someone a jerk.
Yeah.
Like we call someone a jerk off, and you're calling them a cunt, and it's just fine. But I firmly love that word, and it probably comes from my love of the British culture.
Yeah.
But also, it's a word, and it's a brilliant word. There are very few words that mean what you want them to mean. Fuck and cunt are 2 of them that you just go fuck, and it just means whatever you need it to mean right there. And fucking cunt, like fucking, you string them together, it's even more beautiful.
Well, that's the whole thing about the way I'll say English because obviously I'm in.
Yeah, we're Americanized English.
I mean, Scottish is a whole different.
Yeah.
It's a whole different use of vowel sounds. Like I lived in Edinburgh for nearly a year, and basically the word cunt can describe, like the way you say it.
Yeah.
Depends on how it comes across. So you're like, "Hey, right, cunt," means, "Oh, you're right, mate. How's it going?"
Yeah. Or
you guys use it like we do fuck.
Cunt.
Yeah.
You guys use it like we do fuck.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, I mean, it took me about a good few months living up there to sort of realise that there's sort of
not all of them mean I'm going to fight you.
Swearing.
Yeah, well, that's
Whereas,
kind of like in the Asian languages, a lot of Asian languages, one like vowel sound will mean something. If you go like oh, it means one thing, but if you go oh, like it's the inflection on it totally changes the meaning of it 100%, and that feels more rudimentary to me. That feels more kind of down to earth and more realistic a way of doing things, because it's all about the context of the way you are saying things, and those languages still get them.
I will say one of my favorite movies that has different. It's a moment in this movie where I'm like, holy fuck!
Is it
like,
Snatch?
No, well, Snatch. I mean, there is
in
something
Snatch,
about
you're trying to listen to like the what is the not
the Pygmies.
Pygmies? Pixie?
I'm sorry, no, they're not Pygmies.
The Gypsy language.
Yeah,
the Gypsy language.
No.
Forget my people.
I mean, Guy Ritchie has that allure because it's British gangsters, but Euro Trip. There are two scenes in this whole, or the one main scene is when they are on the bus going to England or going to a football game, and Vinnie Jones is just ad-libbing, and he's just screaming out, "Get out of the fucking way, you garlic bread tossers!" And I'm just like, what the fuck? And then like another dude sitting in the seat, something about meatballs or something, and I'm like, what the fuck is even going on? But I want to be a part of whatever these insult fucking crazy things are, because it's way different.
Oh, so Vinnie Jones used to play for a soccer team at Wimbledon, and they were called the Crazy Gang.
Makes sense.
Because they won the cup, mainly because the other side was shit scared of them. They were absolutely insane. Vinnie Jones holds the world. Vinnie Jones holds the world record for the quickest any player has ever been sent off. Literally at the kickoff, the referee blew the whistle. Vinnie Jones sprinted and two-footed took the guy's legs out and broke both his legs.
Holy shit.
And then you watch him in Meat Train and you're like, yeah, this guy is terrifying. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Oh,
but do you know what? He was not the scariest player in that team.
Well, yeah, he became a famous Hollywood actor. I'm assuming there was some guy more grimy and disgusting and more brutal.
There was a guy called Razor Ruddock.
Razor Ruddock?
Razor Ruddock, who was just
Rudder.
He was just, he was the centre back. And he was notorious for just basically the start of the game, the star striker, the pristine striker of the other team. Right. He would just tread on their feet with his studs and try and break some toes. He was a big man. He was not very mobile.
Yes.
But
he was a bulldozer.
Yeah.
He was just running shit over. Oh, all right. Well, I got a cat attacking me here. You want to play? Kitty. You don't want to play. Oh, Lucy Fur over here going crazy. Yeah. Now, Tim, to start shifting the focus over to you. You are and take this how you will. You are an amazingly wonderful musician. You are a great live performer. You are one of the hardest working independent musicians that I've ever encountered. You do a lot of music. You are mixing things and mastering things for other people. You are doing your own music as well. And recently you took a big step away from a genre that you were really comfortable in your latest album, Lost. Now, I don't want to speak too much on it. I'll let you do that. But we are going to be playing the title track, Lost, off of your recent release. This album is a lot about mental health. This is a very personable and personal album. And it is something, again, that genre-wise is just like way outside of what your wheelhouse would be. I was going to make a wheel Holehouse joke there, but it didn't come to me in time. Your whole wheelhouse. There it is. Now, can you tell us a little bit about the brain baby that became Lost and where it all kind of derives from for you and what we're going to be hearing on this single, the title track?
So, I mean, I've never been one to stick to things as a musician anyway. Like, I've kind of, every album I've ever done has been different. But this one was a real, like, outside the comfort zone. So it started maybe about 4 years ago, I think 2016. Okay. Actually, when I first met Greg Rikus, which is how I met you, Kyle.
Yes.
And Zach as well. I met you guys with Greg, and now so I met Greg on that tour. I came over to Canada for the first time. I toured the States before, but I'd never toured Canada.
How'd you like Canada?
I like Canada
clean
a lot.
neighbors.
Yeah. It's sort of
the polite ones to the north.
That the three of us
Except
are
for the
not
French.
allowed in.
Yeah, we're legally, all three of us are not allowed in Canada because of our past legal mistakes.
We could probably
because Canada's really nice. I love Canada.
It's beautiful.
The only thing I'd say about Canada is make it a bit smaller.
Yeah,
for real. It's all
like
one. You know, they're all neighbors. It's one main road that runs through the whole
Straight
country.
Through the whole, I've been on that road for a long time.
You're like, can I get an exit here, please? Jesus.
Once you've been on a Greyhound for 19 hours, you've
Been there. Oh, yeah. I did the U.S. in a Greyhound. That was a terrible idea. I thought I'd be Kerouac on the road, and I was whacked on the road, and that's about it. Not whacked off.
I've done your country on. I did I think it was my second or third tour of the States. I did 2.5 months on Greyhounds.
Yeah, you've probably been to more states than I have.
Yeah.
I'm literally
Probably.
I'm literally 14 states away from having played in every single state.
Damn.
Is Hawaii part of
you've
it?
definitely been to more states.
Yeah, well, you need Hawaii, Alaska, the Dakotas.
Puerto Rico.
No, I've done the Dakotas.
Really? Oh, you've been more than I have.
Minot, North Dakota, I've played twice, in fact.
Favorite
nice.
state so far?
Favorite state so far?
Or the most enjoyable live experience. You can go with that. Maybe not favorite, but the most
Portland, Oregon is kind of cool.
Okay.
I like
Yeah.
Portland. Yeah.
And they just legalized everything, so you can go there and do anything you want.
I like San Francisco, but then I've got a lot of history with San Francisco.
Okay.
Again, Pennsylvania, weirdly, your state has been very good to me, and also I do find the Mormons quite amusing.
They are
Not the
hilarious.
Mormons, not the Amish. The Amish.
Amish.
Oh, fuck the Amish!
We have a history.
dude.
Zach
amazing.
despises the Amish.
Oh, fuck those
Zach
bastards.
hates them.
They'll never hear this, though.
They'll never hear it, and if they do, they're breaking their own religion. If they
Well,
listen to
I
it.
played in Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
On my first tour. And,
Good pronunciation there, because there is a Lancaster in California.
There is also one in Ohio.
Oh, Jesus. We got too
Which
many
I have also
Lancasters.
played. I've also played that one. I've played Ohio one. Yeah, anyway.
So did you have Amish show up at your show?
Yes, and they were on the Rumspringer.
Nice.
It was just one guy literally decided that night that he was not going back to his community because he'd enjoyed the gig so much. It was
Damn,
amazing.
that's awesome.
Changing lives. Fuck yeah.
Ruining families. Tim Holehouse.
Oh, right. Now back to this album. You said you started with your tour with when you
so I
met
was
Greg.
touring Canada, and I'm bipolar, so which is kind of a lot of the whole thing of the whole flow of the album.
Yeah.
Is why I decided to do this mental health album. But I'm bipolar, and so 17-hour bus journeys bore the living shit out of me, and I'm climbing the walls, and I don't really do nothing very easily.
Yeah.
This lockdown has been a prime example. I've demoed 9 albums.
And honestly, the release of this album kind of fits so well. Like, it's an unfortunate thing that it fits so well right now. But there are so many people in the world that have mental health issues. There are introverts that are loving being able to stay at home.
Sure.
But there are, as a friend that I don't think you got to meet that night, but I don't know if you met him prior, Cliff Albert, who's the drummer for Steve-O and the Crippling Addictions. He made a post a couple weeks ago where he was like, where's the support for the extroverts that just want to go and hang out and talk to people? We can't do that right now. There are, and that's just like kind of, on a surface level, touching the subject a little bit, but there are people with mental disorders that they how do you deal with them when you are just one-on-one with yourself if you live alone? And so this album came out, and I went, this is hitting, again, sadly, at a great time for the understanding of what the album really means.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't mean it. Like, there are a couple of songs on there about agoraphobia, and it's actually about somebody who is actually very connected to the album. In fact, the partner of that person has it appears on the album, also does the artwork for the album.
Very nice.
And runs a mental health charity, which is one of the mental health charities that all the money from the record goes to.
That's awesome.
But this guy, he's awesome. He's such a lovely person. And because I always stay with them after the show, he's like, oh, I'm really sorry I couldn't come to the show, but, you know, it's kind of hard to get out. And he's like, he's agoraphobic. And it's cool. And I've played little shows in their apartment for him.
That's
awesome.
It's like,
That's
you know,
so cool.
some people can't get out, and that's fine. You know, like, it's like you do what you do to.
Right.
Like, everybody's got different quirks. I'm bipolar. It's like I do 250 shows in a year and don't think anything of it because I'm bipolar, and I'm like, if I don't do this, I will be lying in my bed for a week just going, I hate life, everything sucks.
Yeah.
So something to keep the mind and body busy.
In the
I have to keep busy, and so this album was like, I'd got sort of, actually weirdly, I'd got like the majority of it already done. I'd got like all the, so it all started life on long bus journeys on the iPad, of just messing around, just writing some stuff, writing some beats and stuff, and just really for myself. And then I wrote a bunch of lyrics about mental health issues on the same bus journeys, and was just like, oh, the iPad's run out of juice, I'll just write a bunch of lyrics. And I was kind of just thinking about all this, and it just sort of seemed to organically form. I mean, as I say, 2016, so it's only come out now. It's been 4 years in the making. But then I had to learn how to like mix that style of music, because I've mixed hardcore bands, and I've mixed acoustic punk guys, and I've mixed blues guys, acoustic blues guys, but I've never mixed electronic music. So it's like, how do we do this? All right, okay.
And would you call, I mean, trying to define yourself is a really hard thing to do in life and in music especially, but trying to define a section of yourself here, because this is just a part of you that isn't the all-encompassing thing, but this album really reflects on that side of you. Have you been able to come up with a term, like a short, easy phrase of describing the sound of the album itself yet?
You see, I call it trip hop, but that's because I like massive fan of like bands like Portishead, Massive Attack, Tricky. I'm like, I used to live in Bristol for a while, and I met Tricky. Actually, Tricky's probably one of my favorite, like, famous people I've ever met, because there's no bullshit with Tricky. He's just what you see is what you get.
He's not that tricky.
He's out there somewhere. He's like,
it's cool that I say trip hop, because here I feel like in our at least local vicinity, you know what I mean, East Coast shit.
Yeah.
Trip hop is not a very commonly referred to.
Oh, not at all. Not at all. Hip hop is more referred to, unfortunately.
Yeah, trip hop people, like, when you say that in like the New York to Carolinas area, you know,
they think you said hip hop wrong.
They're like, what? Trip hop? Like, I don't I don't
on
understand.
Mushrooms and you're
like,
listening to hip hop.
Like, no, like, dude, like, never listen to Massive Attack, which it's so weird. You know that song Teardrops, the biggest Massive Attack song. The other day, during a Washington football game,
Washington football team football game. They are no longer the
Washington
if you know about that, Tim.
Team.
They're a throw ball. Sorry,
Washington throw ball team.
That guy.
They weren't able to pick a name that was non-racist. So
they used to be the Redskins, and they can't be anymore.
Right.
But there was a whole segment where this Native American man was talking about how they, changing the name means a lot to him. And that's cool. I'm cool with that. But in the background, they had this song playing that sounded Native American.
Okay.
It had like Native American tonality
and
to it.
The chant side
and
of
like
things.
me and my dad are watching this. I'm like, dude, what is this fucking melody? I was like, I know this. He's like, I know this too, dude. I can't think of what it is. And then after it was over, I'm like, that was just Teardrop by a Native American version of Teardrop
hell yeah.
by Massive Attack. I'm like,
Honestly, my favorite.
And no, I bet you not that many people that are Washington football team fans got that, or like the native, like, why did they use why did they use Teardrop as a Native American style cover?
Because the beat is a very simple, steady beat, and my favorite version of that, I think, is the Aurora cover on Triple J. If you've never heard it, Tim, check it out. It's like a version Aurora Teardrop. It's fucking rad.
Fuck
yeah. I have heard that one. Yeah.
She's like a Bjork sort of.
All right.
Yeah, I played with her in Reykjavik.
Oh, that's cool. Man. That's awesome.
I've heard of her. Humble over here. Humble Holehouse. Oh, Jesus. Now, the song that we're going to be listening...
I'm friends with a guy called Oliver Arnolds, if you don't know him.
Do not.
He's done like soundtracks to loads of stuff.
Oh, awesome.
Oliver is just incredible, but it's my mate Ollie. It's really weird. Iceland is so small.
Yeah.
Right.
And everybody knows each other. I ended up on a plane with the singer from Sigur Rós.
Okay,
wow.
That's
and
cool.
just chatting to him the whole time, and he's like, "Oh, you're mates with Ollie and Thor." I've got a friend called Thor in Iceland. That's the coolest.
That's rad.
People with balls to still name their kid Thor deserve to name their kid Thor.
Yeah.
Well, it's Iceland, isn't it?
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
I would love to
They
go.
got the
It's
balls.
one place on my list that I need to go.
It looks like, when you land, it looks like you've landed on the moon. You're like, did we
Say
get
the
that
moon
left
is a
at
place that
Albertville?
I've always wanted to go to, so I can just go to Iceland and knock both of them out.
But yeah, what I love about that Massive Attack song Teardrop, though, is it's Liz Fraser from the Cocteau Twins.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
The Cocteau Twins were the original, like Sigur Rós, who actually sing mostly in a made-up language. The Cocteau Twins, she didn't really sing in English. It was just like vowel sounds and noises.
Right.
A lot of the time, and I love that about the Cocteau
I've been
Twins.
trying to get Kyle to listen to them.
Yeah. I'm going to now. Now that Tim has doubled down on your recommendation, I need two people to recommend things before it seeps into my
Treasure
brain.
is the album to listen. Treasure is the album.
Fuck yeah.
Oh,
now,
such
speaking
great
specifically on this single that we're about to listen to, the title track again, Lost, by Tim Holehouse. This one here, if I'm not mistaken, it features Sarah Marie Tyrell and AJ Simmons. And we're going to be showing the video from YouTube here as well. The video itself, was that done during lockdown? Because you are wearing a mask. And I was wondering if that was pre-lockdown or if you were just
No, that was definitely like I did both videos for the. There's another video for Twitch, which is also it's me and my friend Barbara Luck.
Love
Barbara,
that. I started diving into his music because I've never experienced him, and I started diving in.
Barbara is wonderful.
Wonderful, it is.
Yeah.
Good word to use.
So Barbara is one of is slowly becoming, well, not slowly, very quickly becoming one of my best friends. Like, we hang out a lot. But Barbara's in my bubble, so that's how we could do the video. But I'd actually started Lost before that, but it took some time because a lot of it's stop motion.
Okay.
I don't know if you could see it in the video, but a lot of it's stop motion.
Oh yeah.
And so all the characters, apart from the ones without the masks, are me.
Okay.
And it's because I said I would never appear in any of my videos, and then lockdown happened, and I was like, I want to make a video.
Yeah.
Right.
But I don't want to be in it. So I'm the H.G. Wells version of the Invisible Man.
Yes, sir.
Right.
The character from the Blair Witch Project with the black hood standing in the corner.
Okay.
And I do a throat singing project, which is called Rapan. And I put Rapan, which is the big horned mask with the bird nose.
Okay,
right.
That's cool.
So I thought that was the only way I would ever be in a video, because I really don't like being in my music videos. I always try and avoid being that guy like miming to his guitar.
Yeah.
It's just not me.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, I hear you. Well, is there anything specific about this song lyrically, what it meant to you, that you want to say real quickly before we jump in and let everybody give a listen to?
I mean, this one is fairly direct. This is the title track, and this one is fairly direct. It's about depression.
Yeah.
It's about suicidal thoughts. If I'm going to be serious for just a second.
Sorry, I didn't mean to click.
It's all right. So it's about suicidal thoughts, and I've on 2 different occasions have tried to commit suicide, and maybe bottled it, I guess, but just realised there was a lot more to live for, and I think there is always a lot more to live for. There's always more adventures, more fun times.
For sure.
Yeah.
You know, it somehow always gets better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
And
there's always a...
Yeah.
Like, that's, you know, when I go through depression, like, you know, it hasn't really hit me yet, but it's very seasonal, you know, especially during this time. But
yeah, it gets dark.
You get to a point where it's like, okay,
it
and then I kind of start welcoming it in, because it's like, okay, it gives me a different perspective on what I've been looking at through the whole year. And then spring comes around, and, you know, but coming out of winter, it's like, okay, well, it's gonna get better.
Yeah,
it's coming.
It's a cycle,
and always remember that. Yeah, and always remember you've got friends out there.
Yeah,
that is very true.
To talk to.
The way I always think about it is, there's, like you said, adventures. There's somewhere I've never been. If I'm ever at that point and I'm thinking, you know, what's the point? Like, why go on? I always go, well, I could just pack a bag and just start walking. I've never done that. I never just packed a bag and started walking. I never Forrest Gumped it. I could just walk across the country and just see what happens. And if I were to die because of natural causes, it's better doing it on an adventure than at my own hand in that way.
Exactly. And
there's
and
always
if you
something
guys,
else.
If there's ever any of you guys find yourself in London, just give me a shout. You've got a place to stay here.
Hell yeah,
that's awesome.
Well, let's jump into it. Again, it's a beautiful song. I love this whole album, and really stoked to play it for everybody that's listening here live, everybody that's listening in the future. So again, this is off of the album Lost, the title track Lost, from Tim Holehouse. And again, featuring, I just closed my phone. What were the names?
Sarah Marie Tyrrell and AJ Simmons.
There you go. All right, guys. So we'll see you in a couple minutes. Enjoy this single. I'm gonna pee while I listen, because the cable goes that far. Enjoy it.
I'm gonna go pee. I'm gonna go to the toilet.
I was lost, but never found. Sometimes I feel like I should be 6 feet underground.
I should be underground.
Yeah, I was lost, never found. Sometimes I feel like I should be 6 feet underground. Yeah, I was lost. Yeah, I was lost. I'm the evil in your eye. I'm not what you expect from tonight. My symptoms, they cannot test. I'm the fire within your soul. 'Cause I was lost, but never found. Sometimes I feel like I should be 6 feet underground. Yeah, I was lost, but never found. Sometimes I feel like I should be 6 feet underground.
I should be underground.
Yeah, I was lost. Yeah, I was lost.
I was lost.
Yeah, I was lost.
I was lost.
Yeah, I was lost.
I was lost.
Yeah, I was lost.
I was lost.
Never found.
Never found.
Yeah, I was lost.
I was lost.
But never found.
Never found.
The lights are on, but no one's home. I'm underneath, hiding from the naked eye. There is more to me than you will ever see. There's more to me than just you and me. Yeah, I was lost, but never found. Yeah, I was lost, but never found. Yeah, I was lost, never found. Yeah, I was lost, but 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 never found.
I was lost. 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 I was
Well, there you guys have it. That is Lost from Tim Holehouse. There he is back on screen. All right. Again, just a beautiful song. Like you said, it is kind of more straightforward and more simple and to the point in there. But sometimes I am a classic overthinker, and something that Zach struggles with me lyrically a lot is brevity and just simplifying things. And sometimes I feel like as a writer, as a lyricist, as an artist, however I want to describe myself, that like, oh no, I can do better than just saying that word. I can do better than just saying those very simple words. You know, like just saying I love you in a song is just kind of like, I don't need to say that. But if that's the right word, if that's the right feeling and the right tone for you in that moment, it works. And that is something that I love about that single Lost.
Yeah, it's a great song.
It gives you a trance-like feel in certain points. But it is a brava to you, sir. It is wonderful. And like you say at the end of the video, you're not alone.
Yeah.
If you're having those thoughts, you have friends, you have family, you have somebody out there. And if you think you don't, just email us. And we'll talk to you. Don't send it to that address we used to give you, because that doesn't go anywhere. 123justinsuckspa.com isn't
send
working
it to,
so much.
we have a phone number.
We do have a phone
We do
number.
have a
You can
phone
call
number.
570
Have we gotten any more calls?
795 WOAH WOAH. We have not had any more calls, unfortunately. But you can send it to this phone number, and literally we won't play it on air if you don't want to, but we'll talk to you. But yeah, you're never alone. You're never alone. There's always something there. It is 570-795 WOAH if you want. I think our country code is 1 because we're America. God damn it.
God damn it.
But, dude, so we've spoken to you about this album.
Wait, I want to talk about this.
Yeah.
Tim, have you heard, because I'm listening to that song that we just listened to, and it would be such a lovely show to see you in. Have you heard of the band Fontaines DC?
Yes.
From
I've heard of
Ireland.
them.
Have you played with them?
No.
Okay, all right.
All
I've heard of them.
We're going to drop names and you'll be like, old mate. Old mate.
Hero's Death is, it's pretty big over here on NPR.
Right.
National
I
Public Radio.
think they're quite big over here. I'm kind of like at that age, and it's funny. I was talking like to some friends of mine, and one of which is a very famous guy, and it's like it's funny when you're like,
If I guess one name, if it's right, will you tell me?
yeah, go for it.
Is it Frank Turner?
Yeah, that guy.
Just so you know, I messaged Frank Turner on Twitter when we originally started this podcast, asking for him to allow me to use I Won't Sit Down and I Won't Shut Up as the opening theme song to Kyle Mocha Won't Shut Up, and I never got a response, but I was just like, let's just see.
Well, no, I chat to him a little bit, and like it's funny because the lockdown, I probably chatted to him more since lockdown.
Yeah.
Right.
But he's a really busy guy, and
Dude,
he's a really nice person as well.
I
He's a really
hoped that so much because his music is beautiful. And
He's
even
a
going
great
back
guy,
to
yeah.
his, I forget what the name of his older band, but like I did the research and like
Million Dead.
Yeah, Million Dead.
So Million
good.
Dead used to be my old hardcore band's support band.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah, and then they got
cool.
kind of like our trajectories kind of went like that,
Right.
and then we opened up as their support band.
Nice.
It was like
It's the way
It's
it
like-
goes.
it was like, oh, does anybody remember Soon the Darkness? Oh, guess what? They're now opening for Million Dead. Isn't that the band that used to open for them?
Yeah.
So, that's the hardcore punk scene all over.
Yes, it is.
Hey, I just a question popped in my head. But have you ever been to Anderton's?
Anderson's,
Yes.
The music store, yeah.
the music store.
Yes.
I just bought a distortion pedal from them on Monday.
Okay.
Jeez.
We used to be
On Wednesday.
obsessed.
Yeah,
like,
that
we
was
would
like
watch
the
so
number
much
one
stuff from
YouTube
them.
channel in this house for a
Oh,
very long
man.
time. It was that and the animals sounding like humans. That was
Yes.
for
They
extracurricular reasons.
used to have a store down in Portsmouth, my hometown, Anderson's. That's where I bought a lot of my early gear from.
Hell
It just
yeah.
seems like a
But,
really cool fucking shop, honestly.
Yeah, well, at least
Yeah,
it's cool.
the main shop's in Guildford, and that's where the pedal. I bought a Moucha Hustle Drive pedal.
Okay. Hell yeah.
More.
I guess like the translation in dollars would be about $50.
Okay,
It's
alright.
about
Not bad.
£40.
Right.
It's about £40 pedal. But the reason I bought it was
That's a heavy
because I've been recording a new album,
oh,
and
yeah?
I forgot my distortion pedal,
Oh shit.
and the guy, that was the pedal he had. So the whole album is being all the guitars on the album are being tracked through this Hustle Drive pedal, but also into Kevin Shields from My Bloody Valentine's amplifier,
Oh, very
Okay,
nice.
that's cool. Dude.
I met him once.
which is so weird.
I met him in Finchburg, Massachusetts. It was 116 degrees. We were playing Warped Tour, and we literally, my guitar player at the time was like, I really like them. I'm gonna go knock on their bus door. And we knocked on the door of their bus, and they just came out and just started bullshitting with us. And we're like, hey, we really like you. You're fun. Like you're ridiculous.
Oh yeah. The people from My Bloody Valentine have no airs.
Oh wait,
and graces.
sorry, I'm mistaken. I'm
Not Bullet for My
I'm
Valentine.
thinking Bullet for My Valentine. Those motherfuckers. Other
a terrible band.
This has happened so many times with Zach and I. He goes, My Bloody Valentine. I'm like, yeah, I've met them. And he goes, no, you
God.
haven't. And I go, Oh yeah, that was Bullet for My Valentine. Never mind. Bad story.
I'm sure they're nice lads. They're from Wales.
They were nice, but we were like he was fanboying out, and I'm just like, I don't really know who you guys are.
No, my Bloody Valentine are from like the 80s.
Yeah, the shoegaze, the shoegaze.
Basically the band that invented shoegaze.
Yes.
I met Kevin.
So your story is way more impressive now. Continue.
So I'm playing through Kevin's amp.
Stupid. You're so stupid.
I am stupid. I'm a stupid.
So I'm playing through Kevin's
boy.
amp because he's somehow it's been passed on to the guy that, I mean, the guy I'm recording with is quite a guy. His name's John Hannon. He was in a band called Understand, who toured with Helmet around Europe.
Oh, dude, I fucking love Helmet.
I thought I had a Helmet album behind you, but it's Hermeto. Never mind.
No, dude, Helmet. It was that that's my childhood. My dad was super into Helmet.
Yeah.
That was also my grandfather's name. He was German.
It was.
His name was Helmet. So when my dad discovered this band in like '93 or whatever,
right?
He's like, Helmet. Oh, that's my father-in-law's name. I'm gonna.
So my old hardcore band, actually, the only cover version that we ever released, well, kind of released, it was on the discography, was Helmet's Unsung. But,
Unsung, yeah.
Great tune. We did it in a screamo styley. We were We were sort of like somewhere between like bands like Heroin and Klikataki Katawi and that whole San Diego scene.
Yeah,
sort
yeah.
of. I used to be the singer in a sort of San Diego style hardcore band
from the UK. That's brilliant.
From the UK, which is so funny because those guys were trying to copy UK bands like Joy Division.
Yes. Yeah.
No, totally.
Yeah.
Like
it just goes back and forth like that since the beginning of time. We all want to be blues players in 1935 New Orleans.
Well, we also all want to be Keith and Nick.
Look at the Rolling Stones, though.
Exactly.
They wanted to be Muddy Waters, and they ended up with the Rolling Stones. So.
And then people in the 80s grew up wanting to be Rolling Stones, and they wound up being Wasp.
And I just want to be Howling Wolf.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be good. I just want to be Roy Orbison and Johnny Cash mixed together. That's what I want. I want to be. I want to be the Traveling Wilburys. That's what I want to be. I want myself. I actually came up with an idea years ago. A couple of years ago, to do a band called the Traveling Pillsburys, where we just got a bunch of fat guys to cover Traveling Wilburys songs, but we just sing about baked goods instead of anything life related. Yeah, it's not a good idea.
I love the Traveling Wilburys.
Me too.
It's a weird one. Tom Petty for me until the Traveling Wilburys. I didn't get Tom Petty.
Yeah.
And then the Wilburys, I was like, I might go and check this guy's.
I think that's what got me into Dylan a little bit more.
We talked about this last week. Yeah. We were all kind of shit talking Dylan with Steve-O and Jen. It is the only thing of Dylan I really listen to that I really like. Yeah. I respect what he did, but like I'm not going back and listening to that because it's just there have been people that have done I like Iron and Wine more than like their first album more than I like pretty much anything Bob Dylan ever did on his own. And Blonde on Blonde is an amazing album, and I'll give him the band and everything that they worked on together. But Traveling Wilburys was like the peak, and it's pretty much just like
for me, Blood on the Tracks. That's it. Blood on the Tracks.
Yeah, Blood on the Tracks.
Record by Bob Dylan.
Yep.
That's a great record.
Hurricane as well. Like you like there are plenty plenty of great songs he's done, but yeah, it was the Wilburys that brought me.
That's what got me to at least listen to more of his discography.
But also
you know
Tom
what I mean?
Petty, it made me look at him going, "You were a child. You were like 30 years old, maybe 35." And these guys that have been around for 20 years, like Roy Orbison, George Harrison, I mean, Jeff Lynne as well. But like,
everybody hates Jeff Lynne so much.
I love Jeff Lynne, but it's just kind of like you're like the fifth most important person in that band, even though you probably did the most.
No, he probably did the most work.
He probably did the most.
Actually, that there's a really awesome
that 25-minute doc
it's on YouTube.
Yeah.
If you've never watched it, it's really cool. Watch
it's all
it.
about them going to Bob Dylan's house and making it.
Yeah.
But I never was huge in Bob Dylan until the Wilburys. Tom Petty to Warburger. Tom Petty, definitely the Wilburys give me more respect him because before that it's like our friend Steve and I said years ago that the toughest song ever written is I Won't Back Down by Tom Petty. And that was the only song by Tom Petty that I really liked, because it was written after his house was lit on fire by a crazed fan or something along those lines, and he had to save his wife and child and get them out of the building. And right after that, he said, I will stand at the gates of hell and I won't back down, and wrote that song. And I went, that's the most ballsy, like, fuck all the hardcore shit we're listening to, the One Dead, Three Wounded, the fucking Darkest Hours,
And
like
that's
the
when he went
metalcore.
emo.
And yeah, that's what I went up. But like so then I was like, all right, but then Wilburys expanded my view.
See, for
there.
Tom Petty, Running Down a Dream, that fucking
everything's
guitar
good.
riff, that guitar riff is just the moment you
He had
hear
a
that
band.
first note, you're like, okay, I know what this is. Like,
My brother Keith, who is in the chat, one day told me.
I think the thing with Tom Petty as well is that he's been ripped off so many times. He's been ripped off by he's been ripped off by the Strokes. He's been ripped off by the Foo Fighters.
And
you name it.
Gaslight Anthem
sound.
even said in their
the
album,
Red Hot Chili Peppers. If you can guess, I don't like that band.
Yeah,
it's okay.
with you, bud.
They're overplayed.
Yeah, we did an intro song in our first season where we were ripping off the Chili Peppers, and it was just really fun to just kind of shit on them musically. But my brother Keith once told me that his favorite Tom Petty song was Touch of Grey, and I looked at him and I said, that's the Grateful Dead. And he goes, well, I guess I like one Grateful Dead song and I hate Tom Petty.
Oh. See,
All right.
the one I cover, actually, You're So Bad.
You're So
Oh, that's
Bad.
great.
Oh, it's a great song.
I cover that at open mics once in a while, and I fuck it up all the time. But my sister got lucky, married a yuppie, hits hard with me. It is...
My sister got she married a dentist.
Yeah, that's basically what it should be. But it is such a good song. So you cover that as well. That's so cool.
Yeah. But it's like the one it's usually the one I pull out at Fest, because I don't know if you've been to Gainesville, Florida, but Gainesville,
Rock City, Gainesville, Rock City.
It's where
Jake's
Tom
from
Petty.
there.
It's where Tom Petty's from.
Yeah.
But like when he passed away, there was like loads of artists drew portraits of Tom Petty. Not one of them, I'm guessing, is a professional artist.
Okay.
Because they were so
it's Gainesville.
fucking awful.
Dude, it's Florida. Florida is like the redheaded stepchild.
Yeah.
I don't know if you understand what that means, redheaded stepchild of America.
Yeah.
Florida is.
Do you guys
like
have
the...
milkmen that fuck stay-at-home moms in the UK? Because that's where redheaded stepchildren come from here.
Yeah. No, we were quite aware of typing into Google Florida man.
Yes.
And then just seeing what comes up.
Yeah,
well, that's the thing. You type in Florida man and then your birthday or something. And then Florida man and then your name.
I've toured in some very strange places in Florida.
Weird place.
So all of the places in Florida.
I'm not gonna lie though. Every time I go to Florida,
you go.
I
I
have
can
a
live
fucking
here.
wild
You
time.
think I can live here?
I
This
have
is
such a good. Even in the nastiest shit I've ever done in Florida, it's like, this is awesome. I don't want to live here, but I could do this for 1 week a year.
get brainwashed when I'm down there, and I go, I could move to Florida, and then I like remove myself a little bit. I'm like, no. It's like mosquitoes and heat and sweat and humidity. Like I would probably lose weight, so I probably should just do that.
And crazy people.
But the crazy
people.
And I like getting into things way too hard, so I'd probably really into meth and bath salts in about a week. Oh,
you see, I really like it, but like I couldn't live there. But there's fucking alligators. There's one guy where was it? Lakeland, I think it was called. I stayed in, and we went for brunch, and he was like, the guy's pointing out the lake, and he's like, oh yeah, there was wouldn't go swimming in that though, because an alligator bit a homeless guy's penis off the other day when he was skinny dipping.
What were you doing with your
Wait.
alligator?
I'm sorry. He bit his dick off and he's still referred to as the homeless guy? I would say there's this dickless guy. He got into a thing with an alligator. That's where the dickless comes
happens
from.
to be homeless as well.
Yeah, he also doesn't have a home. No home, no cock. This guy sucks.
Yeah, apparently he
no
was
place to
offered-
wank and no reason Reason 2.
Apparently, he was off his face on meth, and he decided that he was a bit warm, so he'd go swimming in the lake, and an alligator the alligator wasn't looking for a substantial meal. He was looking for a light
some
snack.
Vienna sausages.
Yeah. Some little shorties. Jesus. All right. So, can you tell us a little bit about? I mean, we've kind of touched on a little, but your musical makeup, like your musical DNA. What did you growing up in? I'm assuming like early 90s was kind of like your formative years for the most part, like in the 90s. Is that
Yeah. I'm 44.
Well, Justin's 78, so you have nothing to worry about here.
You're good, man.
He's a 97,000-year-old woman. But so at that time, late 80s, early 90s, what were you listening to from your family? Like, what was your mom and dad's record collection or CD or tape or 8-track? And did it influence you in any way? I'm always curious to see if, like...
Can I make one guess?
Yes.
Pink Floyd.
Pink Floyd. Ooh, that would be...
Pink Floyd, no. Pink Floyd's been a more... I had to find Pink Floyd all on my own.
Okay.
Me too with these two assholes.
So my mother, the only thing my mother ever gave me was the Beatles.
Okay.
Fairly obvious.
Yeah.
I guess I should have went with that.
Yeah. Everybody in the world is the Beatles, though.
Weirdly, my mother has a very strange history in that, like, my mum, I don't know if you guys know the band Manfred Mann.
Yeah.
I don't.
So my mum was
in his Earth band.
Yeah.
So my mum was engaged. No, this is the Manfred Mann, the original, not the Earth band.
Oh, before
they
that.
split out. So they split, and Manfred Mann was the original band, and then Manfred Mann, the guy, formed Manfred Mann's Earth band, and the rest of the guys went on to do the Manfreds. So Dave, the guitarist in the original band, who did like the songs 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1,
I do.
was engaged to my mother, and my mum met. So my mum met Keith Richards and Mick Jagger and
damn, that's beautiful.
Various people like that, and she's telling me tales about having a Mary Quant dress, except she didn't have a Mary Quant dress. She looked at one in the shop and sewed it herself because she was poor.
Oh shit!
Wow.
So
that might be the most British sentence ever spoken. Just saying. She looked at one in a shop, couldn't afford it. And that's like Dickensy right there. Yeah. That is Dickensian as fuck.
Well, Dickens is from my hometown of Portsmouth. He grew up in Portsmouth.
Wonderful. So Christmas is big there. Well, you should check out our song from last week called A Christmas Carol, where we do a rap version of it. If you didn't hear it already, we're doing your hometown some good. Yeah. We're bringing Brooklyn to your hometown there. What did your father get you into? Any music specifically?
My father doesn't really, he listens to a bit of classical, but he's never... So my dad's a child genius. He went to Oxford University at 16 years old.
Oh, shit.
Jesus.
He finished school at 14, and they were just trying to bide his time. The man's an absolute... He's like what he doesn't know about physics and chemistry and ballistics aren't really worth knowing.
Fair enough.
That's a scope to know. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, he's like basically imagine Sheldon Cooper at 70. Yeah. At 70 years old. That's my dad.
Okay.
Very nice.
Very lovely guy.
Just walking around bazinga in everybody.
I was gonna say, is that Sheldon from the show that
the
elderly people in America watch?
Big Bang Theory, yeah.
Okay.
Only watched by 90-year-olds who leave CBS on for 13 years in a row.
Well, my dad goes through all the physics on it and literally pulls it apart and just works out whether it's
Does he have a YouTube channel? Because that would be something.
No,
to watch.
He doesn't know how to work technology. This is the weirdest thing.
I'll move there. We'll set it up. It'll be good. We got you.
He's a lovely guy, but yeah, he never really had. He'd never seen a live concert until he came to pick me up. Now, no idea if this band translated over to the States, but do you know the Levelers?
No, I do not.
No, right. They're like a folk punk band from over here. They
I'm
were
sure
huge.
maybe somebody in the chat with more street cred or train track cred might know them, but
They were a
not
big
us.
influence on Mischief Brew, if you know Mischief Brew.
Yeah.
Don't know
From
that.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah, Mischief Brew's a Philly band.
Philly,
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
probably have
Because
heard.
I
of
still
know
live in peace.
I
Not
don't
by
think
name.
so, no.
Yeah,
I probably
Oh,
have
right.
heard something from
yeah.
them.
Unfortunately, Eric, the main guy, has passed away, but he
Yeah,
was a huge Levelers fan. Anyway, the Levelers were playing, and I was watching them. I was like a kid, dead getting into music, and so my dad came to see him, and he was like, "I've never seen a live concert," and that was really strange. So
Wow.
I guess my parents weren't really an influence. It was a lot of just. It was almost like I discovered music because it was not that much about. I think it was like about 10 years old when I got into AC/DC.
Okay.
Okay.
Because one of I was like the little version of the Scouts over here is called the Cub Scouts. Don't know if you know
Here
that.
too.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, Cub Scouts, and there was
That
Scouts
translates.
the Scouts were on the Cub Scout camp looking after us, and one of the Cub Scout the Scouts that was looking after us was my mate Ben, his older brother Ken, who was like cool. He was about 14 and he smoked cigarettes. And,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
and he had a mullet and he was into like metal. And so I got into
The
AC/DC.
definition of cool changes so much over the years.
That's true.
Mullets,
Honestly,
smoking
yeah.
but
cigarettes, 14.
It's gone back to that now.
But now it's
where
back to
like,
that.
you like
though.
look at the
Look at that
chats.
14-year-old with the mullet and a jean jacket. What is he
You're like,
listening to?
Oh,
And
this
vape.
kid
Yeah.
is
You want to be my
that was totally it. It
He's
was like-
sucking a robot dick vape over there for sure.
And then I bought AC/DC's Back in Black at about age 10, and I was just, that was it. That was me sold. I was like,
Fuck
this, what's this music thing and how do I make it? I think my second record was Appetite for Destruction by Guns N' Roses.
Okay.
All right.
Wow.
And I wanted to be Duff Rose McKagan.
Yeah.
Because he was the cool one.
Yeah.
Yeah, Duff
Well,
was cool.
He gave the
Yeah,
roses
like
to the rose.
Slash
The rose to the
and
rose.
Axl, yeah, whatever. But Duff was like, Duff was, him and Izzy Stradlin were like holding that shit together.
I wrote an article years ago, not an article, like a blog basically, that was breaking down. I had a guitar player that joined a band that I was managing when I was like 21 that was obsessed with Slash. He got a Slash signature on his arm at a show once and then went to a tattoo artist and got it tattooed over and then got the portrait of Slash done over it. Not that well. And I was was very adamantly, I loved Nirvana, I loved like the 90s alt rock scene, so I was very against 80s almost everything. It was the era I was born into. I wanted to rebel against it. So the idea of like the last like guard standing of 80s hair metal being Guns N' Roses, I was just kind of like, yep, fuck these guys, fuck them, don't like them. I was very anti them. I've learned to love them mostly through karaoke, oddly, and listening to other people sing them and me going, is that song good? Because like that person just did it terribly and it was good, and then my brother would do it as well.
Older.
But
Oh,
the I wrote an article about how Slash was not a good guitar player basically, and how if you watch all their music videos they cut him off at the arm when he's not soloing because he doesn't know actually how to play chords, and how they would be like, oh, we're writing a song, and he would just be noodling away, and the good thing he did was noodling. But
The also good thing he did, his stepdad
yeah,
was David Bowie.
that helps. And
I
his
know.
daughter is one of the greatest things that has happened in years. Her redoing of High Fidelity that got canceled by Hulu
No.
was fucking amazing.
That was Lenny Kravitz.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah.
Other guy, I'm racist.
Also, Slash is British. You know that, right?
Well,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
is that because of the Bowie relation, or
No,
is
no,
that,
he's from Stoke. He was born in Stoke-on-Trent.
Yeah.
did
Yeah.
not know that. Did not.
Stoke-on-Trent? That's how you talk in Stoke-on-Trent. Stoke-on-Trent.
Oh. But I had this big anti-Slash thing, and then I just got into him on the personality level. Oddly, I also had a big anti-Lenny Kravitz thing for a while, so maybe that's why I grouped them
that
together.
Zoe Kravitz.
Zoe Kravitz. I should have remembered it from her name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like very anti them. But then I found out a story that the Paradise City, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
the track, like his noodling on that, he was just fucking around, and in his head he was playing circus music, and somebody heard him and they went, "What are you doing there?" And he goes, "I'm just playing like circus music." And they went, "No, that's the opening of that song that we're working on." And I went, "All right, you don't need to be," because I'm not trained. Who am I to fuck to tell? Like, I was trained for like 5 years in my teens, and then I abandoned it at all costs. So I'm like, who the fuck am I to tell you, like, what makes you good? That guy just had fucking sheer talent.
Yeah.
And I got more into him as a human being, and then more as an artist afterwards.
No, Axel is a piece of shit.
Axel is hilariously a cheeseburger man now. In the way that he looks like a cheeseburger, and he looks like he only eats cheeseburgers now. And he looks like the fucking cheeseburglar. From
I just want to interject with the circus music thing. I have no idea if this band ever translated to the States, but do you know the band the Cardiacs?
No.
Check out the Cardiacs. They're the greatest British band I think ever.
Fuck yeah.
That's
a sentence.
Wow.
That is a heavy sentence.
Imagine a punk band playing circus music.
Okay.
Okay, do you know? I don't know. If
It's
this
like
band,
almost so
Mustard
quintessential.
plug?
No, I was gonna say I don't know if this band translated to there, but the World/Inferno Friendship Society.
Yes, I know them, but I don't think they're massive over here. But I do know them. They're fantastic.
Because that's
They're
like
more
a punk
theatre,
band in
though.
a
They're more-
circus.
Yeah, they're more theatre than circus. This is
Yeah.
this is like circus music played by a punk band, a math rock punk band.
Okay.
All right, right down my
Cardiacs.
alley, bud.
You are literally making weird connections right now.
So Tim, the singer, sadly passed away this year. In fact, it was very upsetting. He's a brilliant musician, and I actually got to hang out with him. In fact, his band introduced me to Napalm Death.
Oh,
Okay,
shit.
okay.
Yeah.
They were good friends with Napalm Death.
That's cool.
Oh, when you say introduce, like actually physically introduce you to the people.
Yeah, physically.
Oh,
And
okay,
then
never
when-
mind.
and
I have
then
a
when
different
I-
story.
But then when I
just
met,
people saying
and when I
this is
met
Napalm
him,
Death.
when he was at one of my shows, and I told him the story how I went to see his band and they were doing a joint gig with Napalm Death, and I got into Napalm Death. He's like, "Oh, who shall we ring?" And I was like, "Well, I know Lee from Napalm Death anyway," but he's like, "Shane, I've got Shane's number." Like, he phones up Shane Embry from Napalm Death at 3 a.m. We have a conversation about like nothing much in particular, but it's just like, that's amazing. And I'm like,
Yeah, that's so cool.
Scum is so seriously. The Cardiacs, huge influence on Voivod, if you know.
Oh
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
no,
Voivod.
Oh,
yeah,
but,
dude.
you know.
Huge influence on Blur.
Okay,
okay.
yeah.
The bands that they've influenced more than they were ever a big band themselves.
Right.
Yeah.
Now you
They're
said.
one of those.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Finish.
Yeah, they were like one of those bands that like influenced so many people, but never got really famous.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah,
Because
that's
they
always
should
a
have
sad
done, but
moment.
It's like the Brian Jonestown massacre. I don't know if you've ever heard of them.
another great example.
No,
Although
because
that-
you said Blur, I just got to ask because you are from England. Well, which side are you on, Blur or
Girls?
you know,
Oasis.
Oasis.
I was
Right.
saying, I thought Oasis,
What
yeah.
is your take on that?
And then on Oasis, who do you side with there? So let's break
So-
down the sides.
So when that was all happening, when it was the Blur versus Oasis, everybody would always say to me, "Who is the best band in the world?" They'd say Blur or Oasis, and I'd always say Swans. Because
Alright.
Swans are my all-time favorite band, and
Nice.
like listening to my music, nobody would ever figure that Swans are my favorite band.
Right.
But like, I realized I was a bit of a weirdo as a kid. When 14, I went into my friend's record shop, and I asked for him if he had anything by Bauhaus or Joy Division, and he said, "Do you know Swans?" And I was like, "No." he put the Great Annihilator on. It cleared the shop, and I was like, "How much for this record?" It was like literally like, "Yeah, I like this. This is peak." They've played the same chord for about 15 minutes right now. I love this.
Oh, yeah.
And then after like kind of got me into that, it was like, "Do you know Captain Beefheart?"
That's that is one of my favorite things about like learning new music, finding new music. I grew up in the days of I accidentally found hundreds of bands on Kazaa, Morpheus, Bearshare, all of the downloading of the early late 90s. LimeWire, yeah, all of those ways to download
Bearshare
music.
now sounds like a grinder.
Yeah, that is definitely a place where large gay men play with other large gay men, and it's just all even. You're just sharing your bear. We could start that website and make money, the three of us.
Did you know I'm an otter?
You're an otter? Is that a bearded thin person?
Yeah.
Is that? I figured. We have a friend in might be still in the chat, Jeff, who has explained to me that there's a handkerchief thing in the
I know
world
the handkerchief
of,
thing. Yeah.
So if you were wearing a handkerchief like a bandana out of your back pocket, based on what pocket it is, and I'm going to assume that I think left, if I'm remembering correctly, if you're wearing it out of the left, you're a bottom, and if you are wearing it out of your right, you are a top.
Depends on the color.
And then it depends on the
Snoop
color.
Dogg said
what
if you got a blue flag hanging on your left side, that's a Crip side.
But
I trust Snoop Dogg.
But the color thing, and I trust Snoop Dogg in their world, but it also translates where depending
You're getting a
on
thumbs
what
up from Jeff.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you, Jeff.
there is like if you're wearing yellow bandana out of your left, you are a bottom that's into pea stuff. And if you are wearing but there's like different things. And Jeff, if you want to throw maybe a brief example.
I'm not gonna lie, I still don't understand what that means.
What, top and bottom?
Yes.
You're either getting pounded or doing the pounding?
Yeah.
But which one is getting it? The bottom?
Bottom is getting it. A power bottom is someone that can really fuck back, you know? You can really fuck back.
Yeah, because I've heard that term and I'm just like, I don't like who is doing who?
Yeah. They're
I'm
both doing each other if they're both doing it right.
I get that, but
that is the key. If you're doing it right.
You know, who is the I can't.
I've definitely been done more than I've not been done.
You know, in my job, I deal with electrical connections and plumbing connections. It's the male side. They call it male and the female side of like a. No, I know that's probably not politically correct when it comes to people.
Yeah, but I think the construction world is going to be about 50 years behind it. Yeah. They're still calling them 2x4s, even though they're a third the size.
There's a reason.
We
that's
know.
The 2x4. That's the rough cut.
Yeah.
But anyway, all right.
We're mixing genres so hard right now. It's perfect.
The bottom is getting it.
Yeah.
The bottom is receiving.
Yes, bottom is receiving.
Okay. And the power bottom is like a really good receiver.
They're like a pog, bro. They've got fucking thick thighs, and they can fucking power it back at the person giving.
Is it a pog or a frog?
A frog pog.
Okay.
All right. So let's get back to the music.
Sorry.
Never apologize. Especially when we're talking about power bottoms. I think that's a conversation that needs to happen more often with straight men because we don't know.
Yeah, I don't.
I just luckily the smartest people in the world surround themselves with people that know more. I try to surround myself with as many people that know more, you two being the biggest example, and a couple of power bottoms because then I might be the greatest lover in the world. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how that works out.
That's my new album title.
Greatest lover in the world. All right, so Tim, when you first started getting into actually playing music, was guitar the first instrument you started playing?
I started out actually as bass, actually.
Oh, okay. All right.
I was the bass
the noble transition to guitar from bass.
No, actually, I went from bass player to being the singer.
Okay.
Oh, you just dropped it.
I still swear to this day I'm not a guitar player.
Okay.
No, I started out on bass in a punk pop band called the Annabelle Club.
Okay.
Good name. Solid name. It'll sell tickets.
It was only because Annabelle was the guitarist singer we had in our punk pop power pop trio. Fancied. Unfortunately, he sang in the key of brown.
Oh,
It was like the man was tone deaf. He once forgot his tuner at band practice and tuned his guitar to E flat entirely, every string. And I was like,
And
I'll
then
lend you
played
my
along with
tuner.
it. Oh.
And he was like, yeah. It was unfortunately it wasn't until we actually recorded that I actually heard his voice. It was quite something. Yeah. But yeah, I started out as a bass player and I was quite happy being a bass player, and I thought that was my position in bands. And then I sang a song because he was doing such a brown job of the ballad that we'd written as a band.
Yes.
We'd done our sort of Green
Your
Day
power
style.
pop punk trio ballad.
Yeah, because Green Day
Your
did it.
good
and
riddance. Yes.
We actually did it before Green Day, weirdly.
Oh.
Fucking
Nice.
Green Day. I saw Green Day actually when we were in that band. But yeah, so I'd sung one and actually like hit some notes somewhere along the line.
Bless you.
And
You only get two.
yeah. Oh dear. But yeah, so the next band, the drummer from the punk pop band moved to guitar. Turned out he could play every instrument ever, according to Man.
Yeah.
And he'd written like a bunch of songs, and he was like, "You're going to be the singer." And I was like, "Huh?" He's like, "Well, you're never really a bass player because you always wanted to be at the front."
Right.
Apparently, the position of the bass player is to stand at the back. In the shadow.
You're supposed to be right next to the drummer, just doing most of the work and getting none of the credit.
Yeah,
Come on.
Yeah. So I was like usually on top of the monitors. I only had 2 strings on my bass anyway until like
You only need
near
2 if
the
you're
end.
good. That's what our super producer EJ5000 taught me when
wrong.
I was like 13. He goes, he broke a string and he goes, you only need 2 if you're good. You can figure it out. And I went, I can't play guitar or bass if it's not exactly proper.
Well, the guy from Morphine played 2-string bass, and he was amazing.
It can be done. People
I
play
mean,
shoebox
if
basses.
you know Morphine, you know the band Morphine,
I
right?
do not know the man. I do not know.
Morphine. Oh, there's another one to check out. Morphine, one of the greatest. Sadly, passed away in Italy, but
Do you know
American
anybody
band.
that's not dead, Tim? Everybody's passed away so far.
Yeah.
All right, so back to Tom Petty.
Well, Kurt Cobain, even.
Yeah, no, exactly.
I've been obsessed by Nirvana in the last few weeks. I don't know why. And I'm
That
really
comes
getting
and goes
back.
for
That's
me.
that. Yeah, when I was a child, Nirvana was like the
End all be all.
that
You
was
don't get
it.
any better.
Nothing was,
Yeah.
and especially In Utero, dude. That was
Yeah.
when I was a kid. That was the album that was just like, you could be weird and fucked up and make art.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, In
That is
Utero
fucking
is the
true.
album that like Nirvana wanted to make. I mean, I know
Yep.
Scott Litt remixed a couple of tracks, but it's primarily Albini recording
Yeah.
a really good band at the top of the game.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's all
Yeah.
it is. And
Yep.
and I love Steve Albini. I've met that guy, and he is like he's the most no bullshit kind of dude I've ever met. He's just like, this is that. And we just chatted. We chatted for about 2 hours, me and Steve, and I was just like, you're incredible. I'm nobody. I'm nobody. Like, you're Steve Albini. You
Yeah.
recorded Nirvana.
Right.
And you've just chatted to me about 2 hours about recording techniques and given me like loads of hints and tips.
Well, that's a sign of a real
cool.
fucking
Oh,
dude
that's
right
awesome.
there.
Yeah.
That
yeah,
is
what
awesome.
a guy.
Yeah, that is fucking brilliant.
Have you watched Sound City? Have you watched the
Yes.
documentary on Sound
Yeah,
City?
That was
yeah.
a good one.
It had when Dave Grohl was actually talking about recording there and going through the process. It's really fucking cool, and just seeing how an artist, like, just the history and story of an artist going through that process for the first time is always, because we all have those stories of our first recordings or going somewhere to first record.
Yep.
It's fucking pretty cool, man. I don't really
Also,
know.
I've also met Dave as well. I've also met Mr. Grohl, and he's also.
How did that interaction come about? Was that like a playing experience or just like a knowing people experience?
That was set up by Lee Dorian, who used to be the singer in Napalm Death and Cathedral. My band opened for Cathedral, and we kind of hit it off. And he used to come to hardcore shows that I put on at a place called the Swan in Tottenham, which was this sort of basically sort of, and the easiest way to put it was a cover for a drugs den.
Okay, yeah.
And the guy let me put on hardcore shows in the back room, and he was also my weed dealer.
Okay, that's an all-in-one shop right there.
Yeah, it was fucking win-win for me, and he would just let me put on hardcore shows in the back room. But so I used to put on these hardcore shows.
The UK sounds awesome for that. Like,
yeah, for that.
Hey, you want to play in this back room? All right, cool.
And we've had our fair share of people that have offered things like that. Like, obviously, we didn't really get more into it. I know he's now stepped away to the night that, like, we all met. But like, that idea of, like, playing in somebody's basement is kind of the norm for us, because in our local scene, it was pretty much basements, garages. Somebody had a barn house. You know, there's Jesse that has been putting up like shows for years and years and years, or like almost probably I think Steve-O claimed it as the longest running and operating venue in the Poconos, if not the greater like area. But we've had plenty of opportunities that have been given to us by the kindness of people who own property, but it's very seldom a business owner letting you use their business in any way. Like, well, that's cool.
That's the punk scene in general, I think. It's like whatever side of the pond. It's like quite a lot of the time it's just somebody like, right, there's a space, let's use it, let's make a show happen.
Let's be somewhere we're not supposed to be.
Yeah, that also.
I mean, I took on the Swan in Tottenham for putting on shows, and I'd taken over that from a guy called Chris Thackerbury, another guy called Paco, and it's like I was like the third person who'd taken it on, and Peter, the guy there, was just like, you know, one night, because the other two guys had been straight edge.
Oh,
and
I used to do that.
Yeah, I know.
I have friends with lifers tattoos, you know.
I was straight edge when I took over as well, and then like I broke edge, and Peter was chatting to me one day, and he's like, "Oh, you know, the other two guys were like straight edge dudes, and like, do you smoke weed?" And I was like, "Yeah, hell yeah."
Yes,
and
sir.
That was it. It was like we were like friends for life, for like had the room and stuff. And Lee Dorian from Napalm Death are like, I used to put on interesting hardcore shows. I had to put bands on from your country. I put like Tragedy, Tear It Up, Annihilation Time.
Okay.
All sorts of like sort of dirty, crusty hardcore bands, Funeral Diner. Who actually
what era of year? Like, what year around is this happening at?
Early 2000.
All right. Did you ever get a band from the United States called The Ninth Plague?
No, we didn't get.
Okay, they toured Europe. They're from our hometown, and I've always been curious as to where they played, because the stories they came back with were like, you know, for us, Europe generally seems to respect the truer form of the arts. If somebody is a techno group, techno artist, whatever, they're gonna get like respect here in clubs if they have like a hot single. They're gonna get respect from people that truly love the art form. But it seems more in a broader way that Europe as a whole is more open to somebody just like giving you something maybe not necessarily new, but something that is just kind of boldly what they want. And the same thing goes for, you look at like the Nordic states, as you would, for death metal, black metal, things like that. Like, they respect the truer form of that art.
True cult.
Whether they're burning shit down or not. And if a bunch of kids from like Kentucky decide that they like that music as well, and then they make it, it's harder for the guys from Kentucky to get respected over there where they want to be respected. Do you ever feel that, actually? Do you ever feel that with, like, is the UK, I know with the whole EU separation and all of that, aside from the political side of that, do you ever, like, experience, like, oh, we're the British people going to other countries? Like, is there any ever, like, that kind of, like, snob nose turned up at you?
So touring mainland Europe, I get treated, like, I am literally a fucking stranger in my own country. Nobody knows who I am here. Like, yeah, maybe a few, but like, I'm more well known in Germany than I am in my own country, because I tour mainland Europe because I get treated so much better.
Yeah,
like you get treated like I'm signing shit every night for people, getting photos taken.
Yeah.
My backing band are a German band.
Oh, like, fuck yeah. Fuck
so
yeah.
Cool. They're a band in their own right called the Tourette Boys.
And do they open for you when you tour as themselves?
Like, yeah, we're basically the way we roll shows when we tour together now is I'll start the show solo. We'll do like a whole evening. I'll start the show solo. They'll do some of their songs, because they're a band. As I say, they're a band in their own rights. It sounds sort of like the Black Angels or all them witches.
All them witches is great.
All them witches. Yeah.
So check out the Tourette Boys. Seriously, they're incredible. Like, the bass player sings when they play without me, but then we like kind of organically kind of somehow hooked up. And then we do our end. So I play, they play, and then I join them again on stage for the final, like, hour. And we do an hour of and we've done 2 records together. We've got a 3rd one on the way. Absolutely phenomenal musicians.
Hell yeah.
Loveliest guys as well. And anybody who says Germans don't have a sense of humor have never met my fucking drummer.
All right. Hell yeah.
He's like the funniest guy. Half the time I'm not sure whether he's trying to be funny, but he's a really weird guy. He's like, and actually, weirdly, you were saying about Pink Floyd earlier. Willie, which is a great name, the guitarist, the lead guitarist. He's I was really a Syd Barrett guy with Pink Floyd. I was like, Syd Barrett or no Pink Floyd. Once Syd Barrett left, Pink Floyd are done. And he's got me really into like the post Syd Barrett stuff. He's like, it's
would you listen to like half of Metal and most of the first album? Like, that's not a lot of Syd Barrett, really, right? Like, there's like what, 1.5, 2.5 albums of Syd Barrett.
That was it. Yeah, that was it for me. Yeah. I was like Dark Side of the Moon. Not interested. Yeah. No Syd Barrett.
I will say I was on your side there. I didn't like any though. I didn't even like the Syd Barrett side. I was just going eh. And then the first iteration of this podcast was a show where I was going to pick a band and then the guest would pick a band and we would both listen to each other's band's discographies. And then in 6 weeks I had listened to 12 discographies and I was like, I can't listen to this many songs. But the first episode we did was Modest Mouse versus Pink Floyd. And so I listened to all of that and I was like, my brain is dead, like, immediately.
I just got a ton of karma on Reddit from the Pink Floyd subreddit.
Really?
Yeah, I got boiled alive.
Oh, was it based on that at all being posted years ago or no?
No, it was, I went to get pizza yesterday, and on the way down in my truck, I had my phone on shuffle, and Dogs came on from Animals, which is my favorite Pink Floyd album, Animals.
You've stated that in the past. And, you know,
it's just a 17-minute song. And it from here to the pizza place, grab my pizza and come home, it's probably 17 minutes. Right. So I just let it ride on shuffle. I get to the parking lot of the pizza place. I'm 2 minutes early. They're very good. They're like when Capola say it's gonna be 20 minutes. You don't walk into the shop unless it's been 20 minutes.
Yep.
So I had a couple minutes. I sat in the truck and I opened up Reddit, and I I'm a member of the Pink Floyd subreddit,
Right.
and someone had posted, "Oh, here's an original pressing of Animals," and so I took a picture of the screen in my truck of me listening to Animals. I said, here's the opposite of the guy who just posted the original pressings. Now you can see in the picture that shuffle is selected.
Yeah.
Because my whole phone is on shuffle. All 7,000 songs I have on my phone.
Zach has often found himself listening to a song for 3 minutes and then gone, "Oh, I wrote this song."
Yeah.
It has happened.
I put everything...
When you're at 81 songs in 2.5 years, pumping them out week after week after week, you forget the songs you wrote.
I literally have 5,000 songs on my phone.
Yeah.
And so I posted a picture and said, "Oh, here's the opposite of that." And I said something silly like, "Doesn't matter if it's the original pressing or MP3. Like, I love this stuff." Right. And I got flamed hard. People were like,
"How much karma do you have on Reddit right now? Negative? Are you
no,
negative?"
No, I'm like I have a couple hundred comments.
Couple hundred, okay.
I don't know, 100 comments.
All right.
But people were like, "Yeah, it's cool to listen to Pink Floyd, but not on shuffle, you fucking animal." Like, I got totally destroyed. So I woke up this morning. I went to bed. I didn't look at it. I woke up this morning to a million messages on Reddit of like, "You are a fucking monster. What is wrong with you?" So I quick ripped, just looked through the record collection, pulled out a couple, like, I have an original press. I have 2 original presses of Animals. And, like, pulled it out and, like, took a picture of that, like, to all the people that talk shit on me while I was asleep, here's a couple original vinyls of Pink Floyd, just to prove to you that I'm not some sick fuck who listens to Pink Floyd on shuffle.
Well, you're playing like Rolling Stones Pandora, and you hit like musicians, and 12 people
and I had
later.
to explain to myself to the internet, I'm like, "Listen, I was not listening to Animals on shuffle. My phone just automatically goes to shuffle in my truck while I was 15-minute drive to the pizza place to pick up a fucking pizza."
For somebody that does not use social media, with the exception of Reddit, Zach just had more interaction with humans on something than I have in the last year of posting things for this podcast. So maybe you should go in and go, "I'm also an asshole on this show," and leave a link. Yeah, you could do that.
I've got likes on the cheap Reddit too.
That's a very modern world.
Yeah.
Like the modern world. People getting angry about something.
How dare you?
I was called a psychopath, an animal, a piece of shit. Be like, "You listen to Big Floyd on shuffle?
Wait,
are you crazy?"
Your mom's on
I'm
Reddit?
Driving. I'm like, it's hard to listen to a vinyl record while I'm fucking driving.
They did have them though.
They did.
There used to be
cars with record
it's
players.
2020, bud.
We're
Come
not doing
on.
that.
No, you got to bring it back. Dude.
All right, guys. Well, I know that here it is getting late. This is the longest show we have ever done by far. And
sorry.
I know it is.
No.
Good,
dude.
I literally said before, I'm not going to stop this until we get close to 3 hours. While I was peeing outside, I'm like, this is going really well. Also, at the end of last episode, we finished up and then had a great conversation, and Zach goes, "Why the fuck isn't this part of the show?" So I figured, let's just keep going. And I've also reached the point where I'm back to the black labels.
Dude,
I've got the Carlings.
Dude, I rated that higher than I rated Blue Moon.
I do like them. I think we got to get you this Carlings when we're going to save one of these for you.
We'll bury it in the backyard.
We'll bury it in the backyard.
As long as I've got some of that
Old
Old Crow whiskey, that was amazing.
Oh, the Old Crow,
that shit is terrible. So
that was
Belgium
the night
may
we
have
met.
beers, but here in America,
we have bad
know
whiskey.
fucking bourbon, dude.
We got bad bourbons.
No, we've got amazing bourbons in America.
But we were drinking Old Crow the night that we met him.
I know, and that's a terrible bourbon.
Yeah, and it's so bad.
So bad.
When he was like, I can't remember what name it was, I was like, Was it Old Granddad? Because like I could see us drinking Old
Granddad is
Granddad.
mid-tier compared to Old Crow.
Old Crow is
Old
like
Crow is like
literally the
bottom
band
of
that
the
did
barrel.
Wagon Wheel is called Old Crow Medicine Show because of that fucking bottle of bourbon. And you
really?
Yeah.
They're an amazing band.
Oh, I despise that
fucking
song
hate that
so
song.
much. It is so
That band,
overplayed
though.
here. I've
Yeah,
never listened
no,
to
they're
anything
good.
else by them. I'll be honest. I've never listened to anything else by
they're
them.
incredible. Gillian
I'll
Welch.
check them out. I'll give them a good check.
Gillian
But
Welch is an incredible vocalist.
I like the song. I just have heard it. It's like Bop or fucking like Hit Me Baby One More Time at this point to me. Where the only great performance of that song live that I've ever
It's
seen.
Against Me.
Well, Wagon Wheel?
Yeah.
Oh, I've never heard that. My brother Keith did a version of Wagon Wheel. We were playing open mics at this small town in Northern California where we were trimming weed in the middle of the mountains called Hayfork. And they used to not want people to say their names, but they've been blown up on plenty of websites, and 12 people listen to this show. So, Hayfork, California. You could see Mount Shasta from the valley. It was a beautiful place to live.
Jefferson, right?
But Keith, it's the state of Jefferson, the free state of Jefferson.
The free state of Jefferson.
It's they're trying to succeed from California and Oregon, and parts of them form another state called the free state of Jefferson. And I'm all for it. It's brilliant. They want to smoke weed, watch their gay friends get married, and shoot a gun in the air. And I'm like, 100%, do it. Fuck it. But they, either way, they would have open mic nights, and they have real folk artists, like real American folk artists come through. And we have an open mic night, and I would get up and play music that's like what is now like my upcoming solo album. And Keith, my brother, would get up, and he had a couple of really cool songs that he had like originally written. But then the one day he just thought of this brilliant idea, and he got up and started playing the riff to Wagon Wheel, and the whole room turned on him. Like, why are you coming in here and basically playing like Good Riddance by Green Day? Like, if you had done that, it would have been the same. Like, they were like, really? What are you, 12? Like, you just learned the guitar? Like, we're folk artists here. We have real reggae guys come through every other month, you know, because we're in the middle of the mountains. Not a lot of people come through. We have the best Talking Heads cover bands. They did. They really did. And Keith gets up there and he starts playing Wagon Wheel, and the whole room looks, and they all like him. They all love him. He's a good kid. And they're all just like, Mocha, what are you doing? And instead of singing Wagon Wheel, so it's like, you know, the chords, you can imagine the chords going, and he goes, Colt 45 and 2 zigzags, baby, that's all we need. We can go to the park after dark and smoke that tumbleweed. As the marijuana burns, we can take our turns singing that dirty rap song. Stop and hit the bong like Cheech and Chong. Fly high from here to Hong Kong. So roll, and he did the whole song to Wagon Wheels, verse and chorus, and it works perfectly. And one day we're gonna have him record it. But it's the most ridiculously stupid thing. And then halfway through the song, he forgot the words. And the best moment is everybody that had turned on him started then chanting the next lines at him. Like, you know, I bet my caddy will. And he's like, oh yeah, I bet my caddy will. And we just played through it. And it's fucking brilliant. But that is a long tangent just to say I hate the song Wagon Wheel because I've heard it except for that one time that I heard it live. And you said, who?
Against Me?
Against Me, currently. Like
Another Gainesville.
Oh, fuck.
No, not currently.
Not
this
currently.
is 20 fucking years ago.
20 years ago they did that?
Yeah.
All right, but either way. All right, so before we get on any more tangents, and before it's 7 o'clock, what time is it there right now? 5?
Time now is 4.
Oh, fuck us.
Oh, damn,
Fuck
man.
us.
Sorry for keeping you up so late.
Well,
man.
That's alright.
Thank you.
4:44.
Tim, I thoroughly appreciate you
Yes, we all
doing this.
do.
It's a
This
pleasure
was
to finally meet you,
so
man. I'm
fucking
sorry
awesome.
I missed when you were up here.
And we are stoked that
I'll
the
be
world
back.
will
I'll be
one day
back.
go back
Hell
to
yeah.
normal. You'll be here.
I've got
You'll
a
be
drink
in
with
person.
Steve-O again.
Well, we were saying we're gonna
Yeah,
do.
it
we're gonna
happens
do a-
too often.
We're gonna do a
These parts.
bourbon taste test with Steve-O and Tim on the show when Tim can come back, and we're
Okay.
gonna get
Hell yeah.
Old Crow and Old Granddad, and we'll work our way up to Maker's Mark or something.
We should
good
maybe
stuff.
maybe plan our
Can
next
we
show.
work our
too.
way up to Woodford Resort?
Oh yes, 100%.
Are you drinking Woodford?
He's drinking
Yeah.
Woodford, yes sir.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
You gotta
he's
pay an
got
arm and
class.
leg for that out there, huh?
So I really don't like Scotch or Irish whiskies.
Ooh, see, we're JMO
But I
boys here, but we
really
get the
love
Americanized
bourbon
version.
whiskies. In fact, probably one of my favorites is actually called Jefferson.
Okay.
Oh, I've had Jefferson. Yeah, I've had
Yeah,
Jefferson. Yeah.
And now there's
Not cheap.
I got it when I was in Atlanta,
Okay.
and I bought it, and they said,
I
"Oh,
think
this
he
is
used to own most of Atlanta. That probably makes sense.
yeah." They had it in like one day in this liquor store, and they were like, "We don't get this in very often." So we bought it, and I drank it in about a day and a half. And then I hadn't seen it since. Like, I went back there the next day, and they were like, "Yep, sold out." And I was in Cornwall, and there's this place in Cornwall which is in the southwest of England. This small village. There's like literally 200 people live in this village.
Just corn and walls. That's all they got there.
Cornwall's like kind of like, it's a weird place.
All right.
It's-
Is it like
it's a
Lancaster?
weird- No, it's the tippy toe of Great Britain. It's a little tippy toe bit. You know the way the Britain goes, and
Yeah.
there's like a
Yeah.
little toe bit. It's on that little toe bit. It's Land's End is in Cornwall. But anyway, there's this small village, about 200 people, and their local post office has the biggest import liquor store in the whole of the UK.
Oh damn.
And I went in there, and it was like they had Jefferson, they had Woodford, they had Maker's Mark, everything.
Hell yeah.
Like every bourbon whiskey you could ever want. I think I spent a fortune. I think I spent all my tour money on that
Nice.
in that shop.
Well
I was
earned.
just- I was like, how? Because my mate was going, "Oh, you like whiskeys? You should go to this bourbon whiskies. You'll like this place."
Right.
And I went there, and it's literally like this local post office, and then it just goes back, and it's just like bourbon whiskey
We need
everywhere.
post offices like that.
Yeah, for sure.
We're all
And I'm
state run
like-
anyway.
And I'm like, I've died and gone to heaven. It's like my tour mate's pulling me out of like the shop, just going, "No, you spent like £200 already."
Gee,
Stop
that's
it.
a good haul.
That's a good
fucking
haul,
good
yeah.
haul. Well, hopefully it gets you through winter. And again, we can't wait till we can see you in person.
Oh, yeah.
Whether
Yeah, you
it's
too,
whether
you
it's you
too.
hear us there, either would be amazing.
Yeah,
and
I'll be
again,
back.
you can check out Tim at Tim Holehouse at Tim Holehouse Music. The new album Lost. He's got plenty of stuff in the works. So guys, go check that out. Go give him a like. Go subscribe. If you have a channel, he's like one of the most generous people. He does basically sub for sub. You subscribe to him, he's gonna go, "Oh shit, you subscribe to me," and he's gonna check your shit out. So go check his shit out. Wonderful songs, everything that you heard tonight, and plenty more.
Oh, yeah.
And then I want to give a big thank you to Mr. Justin Olimpedo for getting this all put together.
You're welcome, man.
This
Thank
is
you, Justin.
this might be
yeah.
I'm just gonna say this might be my favorite episode we've ever done, because we just kind of let it go. And maybe going artist with their music is the way to go, because I think it's a good pairing. It just lets you
Yeah.
listen and then discuss, and when we got a chatty Cathy like this motherfucker right here, it's gonna work. It's gonna work. Big thank you as always to Mr. Zachary
Good talk, straight Byron.
Storman. I don't actually understand what you said there.
It's like, come on, straight Byron.
Good, huh, Stapper?
Good talk, straight Byron.
Straight bourbon.
You want a straight
Get a
bourbon?
straight bourbon.
Good talk, straight
Good
Byron.
talking straight bourbon. Okay. That
That's
makes
where
some
bourbon
sense.
comes from. Bourbon County, Kentucky.
Yeah. Oh, you were talking like a
Oh,
person
gotcha.
from bourbon. I thought you were just intoxicated. My
No,
mistake.
yeah, I
As
drank
always,
a lot of bourbon.
Go
tonight.
check out our friendly podcast, But What Do We Know, who we do the opening theme song for. If you like true crime, if you like girls chatting about their ridiculous lives, go check it out. It's really fun. Also, go check out Sean and Dave Make Music, where they just dropped their episode with international famous comedian Todd Glass. was on one of their episodes that just dropped last night. So go check that out as well. Still upcoming is Zach and I's second appearance on Not Movies. They were working on the Todd Glass thing, and after listening to it, you and me can go fuck off because this thing is brilliant. Also,
I got opinions.
I got opinions too. Go check out our brother sister love podcast. But what do we know? Featuring Anthony DeAngelis, Sir Anthony of the Angels, the Grega Man, and super producer EJ 5000. Big thanks and big ups to EJ. Big ups to EJ. Usually I have to also plug our featured artist, but that again was Mr. Tim Holehouse here, so go just double plug there. We're double plugging your butt on this one. Double plug that booty.
Well, all the money from my current album Lost goes to 2 mental health charities.
Go fucking
awesome.
buy it.
Yeah.
Go fucking buy it.
In the UK, and Brain Aid based out of Athens, Georgia.
Hell yeah.
In the States. So yeah, if you buy that record,
thank you
none
for
of the money
specifying
goes to
in the
me.
States, because I just went. I know there's Georgia the country. Is there Athens, Georgia the country?
Maybe.
Because it
Now,
would
there's
make
Athens
sense.
in Greece, but yeah.
That's where I went. I don't know about this. 2 places in one city.
No, we're from the north. We don't get down.
We don't really go down to Georgia. But either way,
Georgia much.
go buy the album. If you
Yes.
have money to spend this holiday, spend it small, spend it local. And local is international. It just supports somebody independent right now. So go check that out. For Kyle Mocha Won't Shut Up, I am Kyle Mocha. After almost 3 hours on the air for the first time ever, I'm going to shut up. Yeah. And as always, we like to, Tim, just excuse us here, we like to sign off maybe in an improper way, but fuck you, fuck the fans, Jeff Buckley!
Fuck you.
Mood.tv.
There's nothing more egomaniacal than singing the theme music for your own show. Who am I? Kelsey Grammer. If I could only drink like him, we're gonna write a new one every week. Some will be solid, some will be weak. We're gonna write a new one every week. Some will be solid, some will be total experimental pieces of shit. Oh, we're not over yet. Now we are.